129. That is absolutely spectacular from Colin Osborne.
Remarkable from Robert Thornton.
Game shot in the first leg.
What a leg that is. 12 darter.
The only unbeaten player.
Game shot in the second leg.
This is
Game
really
shot in the
territory.
first leg.
Does he want to go for the double 19? Of course he did. To get more relaxed.
Oh
boy. Double 18 for a monstrous 147. Bradley Brooks.
Hi there, good evening and welcome along to the Modus Super Series, where Thursday night means the start of Group B and we have got a tasty lineup for you. But earlier today we did see the beginning of Group C, myself and Paul Nicholson alongside me. Paul, it was quite a contrast to what we saw last week, wasn't it?
Just a little bit. It seems as if some people have decided to go and dominate the group. It's not going to be a close-knit thing like it was 7 days ago, which is interesting, but it puts a lot of emphasis on the chasing pack having a really good first couple of rounds tomorrow, because you just get the feeling that Colin Osborne in particular is very happy with his day's work.
Yeah, really, really good stuff from him. A fantastic display from the Wizard. Is he pretty much there just with a couple of wins?
I think we're all a little bit once bitten, twice shy when it comes to people getting a perfect Thursday in Group C. Did he play his best darts? No. Did he play better than anybody else in the group? Absolutely. And that's all you've got to do. You've got to find a way to Saturday and then find a way to win on a Saturday. 10 points on a Thursday, no matter how you do it, is a fantastic job.
Well, from the Wizard to the Apprentice, Mason Whitlock on debut, we did see him improve as the day went on, didn't we?
Yeah, I think so. He looked a bit edgy at the start, and who wouldn't? With his amount of experience. He's called the Apprentice for a reason, because he is someone who is learning his trade at the minute. I think there were a lot of really good early signs, but by the end of the day, he was starting to do some things that made us feel like he could spend an awful lot of time here, including those last 3 darts of his campaign. He'll have gone back to his house in Hampshire, very happy indeed.
Yeah, what a way to win his last match. Just quickly, just one little bit of breaking news. Unfortunately, Owen Bowden has pulled out. He's withdrawn from that group tomorrow. He's going to be replaced by Lloyd Walker, another local player from the Hampshire area, who will get his chance tomorrow. But let's talk about this group now, Paul. We'll do it by looking at the betting and see how the bookies have gone in Group B. Conan Whitehead, maybe unsurprisingly, the 11-10 favourite. Groeneveld, a very good performance in Group A from him, but there are some good players that are effectively outsiders in this group.
Yeah, I think Wazzy, fourth favourite there at 5-1. Just watch out for him, because he's someone who can catch fire, no pun intended, because he has got Wazzies on fire on the back of his shirt. Pete Begoy, I think, is an underrated dart player. It very much depends on how ready he is for this challenge. But Bradley Brooks at 4-1, yes, please. Bradley's a great player. He's suffered with a lack of form in the last 12 months, but he's starting to put a few things together. And we don't need to even talk about the 9-darter he hit in a local competition yesterday. That's just one leg. But it is another confidence boost for Bradley, who's going to be more equipped for this challenge than he was the first time around.
Do you agree that Conan should be a pretty short favourite, as it happens, for this group?
I do, because his numbers this week are encouraging. Averaging 88 for the week. His doubles have been excellent. His 180 hitting has been spectacular. So if that continues, I expect him to be in Saturday night. No trouble whatsoever.
Right, we will see. We're going to talk through all the matches in a moment. Conan Whitehead is in the opening match of the evening. He takes on Pete Begoy, and I had a chat with the Series 1 champion earlier tonight. Conan, first of all, just sum up your week so far.
I'm quite happy with the week so far. I mean, first day was 3 wins. Played well first day. Second day was another 3 wins. And then third day was 4 wins, I believe. But I'm a bit gutted that I didn't nick second spot. I mean, first spot was taken by quite a big leg difference. So I'm gutted I didn't nick second spot.
Always a benefit, though, of being in Group B, 3 players going through from 5, playing in the evenings. Do you feel this is where you could come alive this week?
There is, but I looked at this morning's group and I fancied that. So I wasn't really fussed if I finished 4th or 3rd. I'm still confident I'm going to smash tonight. So, Yeah, I'm in myself. My game's in a good place. Me setup's good. So yeah, I think I smashed the night as well as this morning.
But it's interesting you say that because I know all of you come here wanting to win and thinking you can win the weeks. But when you look at the rest of the players this week, are you fancying it even more?
No, I'm not. It's a tough, very tough group tonight. I mean, you've got Bradley coming in, you've got Pete Begoy in. I play with Dave Wosley all the time. And then you've got obviously Cornet's there. And it's a very tough group tonight. I think this could be anyone's, but that top three is massive out of 5.
We've had some fantastic Champions weeks and some fantastic finals nights recently. Obviously, you're the original Modus Super Series champion. So how important is it for you to keep getting back to Champions so we can getting that opportunity to win it again?
Yeah, it's the one I want. I want the second one. So I will be trying my hardest to get through to that Champions Week. And once I'm through to Champions Week, even who's qualified at the minute is a hard week as it stands. And there's still 7 qualifiers after this week to go. So yeah, it's going to be hard, but if I'm there, I deserve to be there. So
next step starts now. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and he may well be there. He so often is Conan Whitehead on a Super Series, Super Saturday. He's had his ups and downs since that glorious high of winning Series 1. What a moment that was. And how things have changed here since he won that as well. He was looking round the building there, just showing Pete Begoy, who hasn't been here for a while, that things that have changed. But one thing that has remained the same is Conan Whitehead's will to win. But will he win in his first match against the former professional cricketer, the Feast, Pete Begoy, 30 years of age from Derby? Or will it be Whitehead getting off to a winning start in a group that he is favourite for? Can he take a step towards another Super Series success? Myself and Paul Nicholson will guide you through 10 tungsten tussles tonight. And this is a decent one to feast your eyes on, isn't it, Paul, to start off?
Yeah, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Modus Super Series in Series 7.
First leg, it's Pete
Week
to throw
7.
First. Game on.
This is Group B, and you know what that means. 3 spots up for grabs out of 5 players.
55.
And this is a scenario that Conan Whitehead has been through many, many times. Okay, let's just start as we mean to go on, because the statistic possibly of this week is the 180 hitting of Conan
57.
Whitehead. That's his 30th of the week. And this is only his 16th game.
Yeah, that is
125.
an incredible standard. And Conan Whitehead is not a player that is
58.
unusual for. He has come and produced some big stuff in the past, of course. That big moment of winning Series 1 will
92.
always live in the memory, but he's had some nights where he's just been irresistible since then.
I don't think people
97.
know how good
Conan, you require
Conan is,
104.
apart from Conan himself. Some of the things he must do in local competitions and maybe in practice. I've heard some stories about some of the things he's done.
51.
He is a remarkable dart player.
We almost didn't get him last year, didn't we, when he went to Q School? He missed out, and he had that strange scenario where it turned out, had he not bothered
Conan, you
to
require
turn up for the
53.
final day, he would have got through, because he damaged his leg difference.
Game shot on the
That's a
first
good
leg.
start.
Conan Whitehead.
And if I may, I'd like to say well done on not going to the PDC Tour,
Second
Conan,
leg,
because
it's
every time
Conan
you're
to throw
here,
first.
I am gripped.
Game on.
I will never forget that first Champions night when he beat Graham Usher in the final.
100.
That was a spectacle and a half. But I also mentioned Conan late last week when we had a 9-dart
85.
shootout with Darryl Pilgrim. Not getting through that 3-person shootout because it was a night that Conan was here on a
75.
Saturday night where we had our very first one. With Lee Shewan, with Andy Hamilton and Ryan Finesse. And the most excited person in the building when that 9-dart shootout was going on was
96.
Conan. That was the inner darts fan coming out. He couldn't wait to see what happened because he was already safe and into the semi-finals.
What I did find
57.
interesting from his interview is how much he really does cover that second Super Series title. I remember a couple of players, I think Jamie Kelling was one of them,
66.
that really springs to mind when they won their week and they said, I really proved I can do something now, but the next thing is to prove it's not a one-off. I feel like Conan Whitehead almost feels like that about not just a week, but an entire series. Like, because somebody else has won it multiple times,
135.
he wants to go and do that as well.
I think he's selling himself short. Look at the people who haven't even won on a Saturday night in a weekly sense. Robert Thornton is the biggest name on that list. Martin Adams has not won a week. Conan has won
123.
multiple
Conan, you require
times
134.
in the week. Cut yourself some slack. Hit another double top. Win the
Game
leg
shot on second
with some
leg,
more
Conan
brilliance.
Whitehead.
Are you starting to understand just how good this guy is? We all know it.
Third leg, it's Pete to throw
He does
first.
like to entertain
Game
as well.
on.
He totally gets the concept here at the Super Series, Conan Whitehead. He goes onto that stage and he wants to do special
100.
things, which is why you'll see him go for the bull on 50 and go for tops finishes like the one we've just seen. He really is a great throw man,
60.
a great showman.
In a funny sort of way, I know he wants to get back to the PDC Tour at some point, but
100.
the more he isn't, the more I'll be happy that he's here. But we talked about Conan for a couple of legs. How about Pete?
125.
Pete's a great player, has played on the PDC Tour himself as a substitute player. Comes from the Midlands, which has given us a multitude of great players.
60.
But this is a horrible first game, and it will be a nightmare last game tomorrow.
58.
Into the early hours of Saturday, they will play their second match, and I just wonder what's going to be on that one. Will Pete have to win that to make Saturday night
108.
as he joins the 180 party?
Well, you picked a good time to talk about Pete there because Conan wasn't really letting us, but now he's let his own darts do the talking.
140.
Would have been the
Pete, you require
perfect
61.
response, but just got a deflection with that last dart there. Double 16.
45.
Not found by Pete
Conan,
Begoy.
you require 118.
Conventional or inventive? Conventional.
98.
You haven't done it yet,
Pete,
Paul.
you require
Your sound
16.
effect. So maybe when this double goes in,
We
No
can't.
score.
it was
Out of the red and into
Conan,
the
you
green,
require
nothing in this
20.
game for the wrong bed. I'm not going to do it for Conan hitting it.
the FX may have to wait.
No score.
Maybe we will get them.
Pete, you require 16.
Drum roll, please.
Eight.
Oh, he hangs
Conan,
his
you
head in
require
shame.
20.
Weren't badly thrown. But Conan can pounce to take a 3-0 lead. Can't get any closer than that.
No score.
How have
Pete,
they
you
not gone
require 8.
in? Each of them placed right on the wire. Right, here we go.
4.
Not meant to be.
Conan, you require 20.
And Conan's percentage on doubles this week has been really good. Keeps hitting that wire.
Game shot
he's
on
found the
third
double this
leg,
time.
Conan Whitehead.
Very strange. Break of throat.
Fourth flag, it's Conan to throw first. Game on.
So it could be the Whitehead whitewash in the opening match of the night.
Isn't it interesting that Conan was looking at the results in Group C this afternoon? And I think he understood just how winnable a lot of those
65.
games would have been for him. In fact, I have a very strong inkling that had he played in that group this afternoon, he would have walked away with a minimum of 8 points.
100.
He spoke about that, didn't he? He said that he really fancied that group in his interview, Conan Whitehead.
134.
I said the advantage in Group B. He said, yeah, but I watched that group this afternoon and I really fancied. I think he felt he would have got all 10 points.
He may well have done.
100.
What's also interesting, he was disappointed not to finish second, even though it doesn't really matter. There's a slight monetary difference in what position you finish, but second or third
80.
get you into this group, and he was annoyed he didn't get second.
Yeah, he's the first person to have mentioned that in an interview for my liking, and I think that's a really healthy thing to say. That
47.
even if it doesn't make any difference to where he goes Thursday, Friday, he still wants to finish in a more positive position.
95. Conan, you require 154.
Well, this to get the job done very, very quickly. Begoy will have to come back and find a 1-2-7. And having missed 10 darts at double already, that does seem quite
58.
unlikely.
Pete, you
Look on the
require
bright side, his
127.
doubles percentage can't go down. He's not going to get a shot at the bullseye, so this number that Conan
55.
has is something
you
that could
require
have two doubles
96.
attached.
He's at it again. He's done it
Shot
again.
and the
It's
match,
double-double.
Conan Whitehead.
It's double-double-double. Conan Whitehead with a 4-0 win. Twice finding two doubles at the end of legs to win them. And he gets off to a great start. He's certainly enjoying himself at the Super Series, as he always does, and we all enjoy watching him. That 1-3-4 ended with two tops, and then a 96, double 18, double top to win the match 4-0. But going off to a bad start, Whitehead with a whitewash win. Coming next, David Wawrzewski takes on Groeneveld. Second game then here at the Modus Super Series, and it is going to feature Groeneveld, the ADC Europe qualifier this week. You had a very decent Group A campaign. He actually finished second in the table on leg difference ahead of Conan Whitehead, who's just won the first match 4-0, and his opponent is a returning David Wawrzewski, the London-based player who's been to the quarter-finals on the Challenge Tour, and he is up against the Dutch starter Groeneveld, who is looking to build on that Group A campaign. But we've seen so many times you start again on 0 and there are no guarantees that Group B is going to get you through. Let's see if this man can do it.
It's a really interesting name for a place, isn't
First
it?
leg, it's David to throw first. Game on.
And I'm not talking about London. I'm talking about Middle Harness. Sounds very safe. But I think a lot of people
100.
would admit that they haven't heard much about Corne Groeneveld before this week. We know a little bit more now.
60.
Yeah, all that was really known at the start of the week is that he played in the same local team as one of our referees here at the Modus Super Series, Marco Mayer.
45.
Now, while we're on the subject of referees, there are a few comments in the YouTube chat asking when Owen Binks will be commentating. Obviously, that was
135.
teased earlier today. Now, what you've got to do to make sure you do hear Owen Binks in the commentary box making his debut is subscribe to this channel.
125.
That has already happened, and the video will be dropping very soon on the Super Series YouTube channel. And Paul Nicholson, you had the pleasure of
79.
being alongside him. Was he his usual excitable little Duracell bunny that he normally is?
Have you got any paracetamol?
125.
Yeah, I think you enjoyed it. Nice to have a different voice in the chair.
91.
Nice to have a bit of
David, you require
enthusiasm
106.
from different quarters as well. Doesn't do anybody any harm. Going to be a bit of a tongue twister tonight for our referee,
27.
Jack Garwood.
Corner, you require 136.
Get some Scrabble points for these names, that's for sure.
55.
79 for
David, you require 79.
Big David. Single 20 and tops.
Game shot
Very
on the first
nice.
leg. David Wawrzewski.
Has been here a few times
Second
before.
leg, it's corner to throw
Still
first.
looking for that
Game on.
one campaign in a weekly sense that he can really treasure.
100.
To go deep on a Saturday and say, I can get to something like a Champions Week. He's a bit of a mainstay in
140.
North Kent and London. You just get the feeling that if he was to build a bit of
60.
confidence in a Group B campaign, he might be a bit handy on a Saturday night.
81.
But I've got to give a bit of credit here to Paul Nicholson alongside me, because off air we had a little bit of a chat before it started. Luke Littler once again in the final of the Premier League, and Paul said to me,
100.
it must have been around this time last year that Luke made his debut at the Super Series. Well, I've just done a little bit of digging, and you were close.
100.
In fact, you were one day out. It was a year ago, yesterday, that Luke Littler first appeared here at the Modus Super Series.
81.
Who would have thought a year later he'd have been in a World Final and top of the Premier League?
And he is going to be top of the Premier League no matter what happens in the final tonight in Birmingham with Michael van Gerwen.
Corner, you require
one day out.
160.
Where's Ken Bruce when you need him?
140.
10th of April,
David, you require
2023, in a
40.
group with Nathan Gervin, Alexander Merckx, Alex Spellman, Kenny Nayans and Stephen Johnston.
Game shot on the second leg. David
Wazzy is
Wawrzewski.
very close to being on fire. I suppose at 2-0 up
Third leg, it's David
and
to throw
50%
first.
on his doubles. I'd
Game
say
on.
he's lukewarm.
60.
Can't believe I was a day out. The old mental clock is still going. I might nearly be 45 years of age, but I've still got it.
58.
And if you want to know a little bit more detail, he did win that group, but he only won it on leg difference. He got 20 points, 10 wins, 5 defeats.
100.
Beat Alex Spellman on leg difference. Then on finals night, 4-1 wins against James Richardson and Richard North. A
57.
4-3 victory against Nathan Gervin in the semis, and then that 4-0 final win that everyone remembers against Northie.
140.
This is a good display here from David. As he caught Cornet cold. A lot of C's in there.
96.
Should really have done
60.
something to mark the occasion, shouldn't we? It'll be the 15th of April will mark the day that Littler first won a
59.
week here at the Super Series. So
David,
that's
you
next
require
Monday. So that can be a little
141.
challenge for our production team to make sure that occasion is marked. But right now,
109.
this man is stealing all the attention. This is, I'm going to say it, the best performance we've seen today.
134.
So
David, you
far,
require
so
32.
very, very good. Good marker as well. Just over the top of that. Now he's got 2.
No score.
Well, for a second, I thought that was
Cornet, you
good.
require 97.
But apparently not good enough. Cornet hasn't even had a dart at a double until now.
87.
And he can't make it count.
David, you require 32.
So Wawrzewski looking at double 16. This is a big, big moment, but he can't
24.
find it.
Cornet, you require 10.
It's a bit of a disaster. 3 darts missed in each of the last 2 visits. 6 in
On the third
total.
leg,
Groeneveld
Cornet
makes him pay.
Groeneveld.
And Wawrzewski will be licking his wounds.
4th flag, it's Cornet to throw first. Game on.
In Group A, Cornet was averaging 86.23, which is very respectable. 34% in his doubles, which again is very
100.
respectable. Averaging more than 180 per match. Now, if you want to have
64.
a really impressive statistic, he had his best average against Conan
59.
Whitehead in a 4-2 win on Tuesday. But I know he's not playing in this game, but I want to load
100.
Conan just one more time. He didn't have a game in Group A without a maximum. 15 games
100.
consecutively with a 180. And he got one here in his first game tonight. So he's 16 out of 16 in getting a maximum in matches. That is unheard of.
Yeah, very, very, very impressive.
I would usually say that 18
121.
maximums like Cornet's got over his 15 matches in Group A is very good. But the fact that Mr. Whitehead has got
140.
a lot more
Cornet, you
tells you
require
all you need to know.
121.
Bullseye
96.
made the bull move.
David, you require 137. 97. Cornet, you require 25.
This could have been so different.
Game shot on the
Now
full
it's
flag.
2-2.
Cornet Groeneveld.
What could have been 3-0. He now has a very big problem with
Fifth
the big
flag,
lad
it's David to throw
from London,
first. Game on.
who does have a lot of friends watching tonight. Old and young.
98. $96.
They're not hanging around, these two, that's for sure. It's not as if Bradley Brooks is going to hang around in the next match as well when he takes on Pete Burgoyne.
100.
We like a Burgoyne here at the Modus Super Series. We had a Michael Burgoyne last week, didn't we?
140.
One a
Was it
week.
the week before?
The week before, yeah. One a week. Or one every other week.
58.
Yeah, one of them's called The Feast. Something to do with a crisp addiction. And Michael Burgoyne was called the Burger Boy.
133.
A bit of a theme, isn't there, for the Burgoynes? Should open some sort of world buffet between them.
Or maybe Pete should get the old
100.
burger rings.
Corner you require 132.
Oh, lovely. Not what he needed with the second
92.
darts.
David, you require 145.
David's got to snap this streak somehow because he's allowed Cornet to warm up.
50.
He caught him cold. He
Corner,
just
you
didn't
require
put him
40.
into the corner. And now he's
Shot on the
behind.
fifth flag, Cornet Groeneveld.
It's a really interesting logo that he's got in the back of his shirt, Cornet.
Sixth flag, it's Cornet
It's
to throw
so
first.
sharp and equilateral. He
Game
might as
on.
well call himself the Triangle. Let's face it, I think David's found himself getting lost
140.
in the last 3 legs. But this is not Bermuda, this is Portsmouth. But it doesn't have the same ring to it, does it?
41.
The Portsmouth Triangle.
Well, there we see it. Almost looks like a little ice cream cornet, doesn't it?
100.
I've still got food on the mind from your Begoy bants.
45.
I think it'd be good initials for someone from Newcastle. CGI.
100.
Mr. Nicholson, one of the questions in the chat, what do you think of the Penguins' chances? I've got no idea what that means, but I'm sure you'll be able to
Corner, you
answer.
require
I love the
161.
chances of the Penguins, especially with Sidney Crosby in such good form.
I like them too. It's
58.
the way they sort of waddle along.
Talking about the Pittsburgh Penguins, of course.
Ah, okay.
In the NHL.
60.
We've been playing
Corner,
very
you
well
require
recently.
103.
As much as Jeff Smith's been taunting me with his Oilers jersey.
63.
Well, Wawrzewski had raced away in this game, and then he missed 6 darts at double to go 3-0 up, and it's all gone horribly wrong
26.
since then.
Corner, you require 40.
Double 10.
Game shot.
Very
and the match.
effective.
Corner Groeneveld.
18 darts is good enough to take that final leg. And at 2-0 down, and possibly 3-0 down, he was thinking he was in real trouble. But his ability to come through that game and win the last 4 legs and elevate his average to almost 89 tells you a little bit more about Corne Groeneveld, who might be a very big threat for winning this group. And as far as qualification is concerned, he has done a very good job in winning his first game by 4 legs to 2. We're about to say hello to Bam Bam. I wonder if he's brought his club with him. Well, I hope he's brought his 3 darts, because Bradley Brooks is on the way.
Welcome back to the Live Lounge in Portsmouth, the home of the Modus Super Series, where Pete Begoy is back on the stage and looking to repair the damage from the 4-0 defeat he suffered in the first game against the first ever Modus Super Series champion, Conan Whitehead. His opponent in this one is that man there, Bam Bam, ready to make the bedrock here. Bradley Brooks from Blackburn, 24 years of age, former PDC World Youth Champion, now looking to do some damage at the Super Series after falling off the professional tour, and he takes on the man nicknamed The Feast, but he didn't get a crumb in his opening game, and it's not going to get any easier, is it, Paul Nicholson?
No, it's not going to get any easier, and the longer it goes tonight without Pete getting a leg, the hungrier The Feast will be, and that will make him hangry.
First leg, it's Bradley to throw first. Game on.
Sounds like I'm saying hungry in Australian.
It's not a good feeling. I've been there several times.
Bradley Brooks looks like he has been hungry for the last 6 years. He's very svelte.
45.
So svelte that an Under Armour top that was supposed to be for him to stay warm in a PDC venue was too big.
100.
He's like a whippet, is Bam Bam. But I guarantee you this, when he gets it right, he is fast, he's quick, he's effective, and brilliant.
97.
One of the better nicknames in World Darts, and for me, one of the better dart shirts.
100.
Technically a very gifted player. Has worked very hard on his game the last few years. I just get the feeling, though, Chris, with Bradley,
41.
we might not see the best of him until a little later in his career. He may just take a little bit more blossoming.
We've already seen him take steps back and then steps forward. I think he can do that again several times. Just on the theme and the shirt. Not the only Flintstones themed nickname in darts, is he?
Like Barney.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going.
140. Pete, you require 161.
Well, Pete Begoy hasn't hit a Barney Rubble yet tonight.
65.
He's in a better position than Bam Bam, though.
In this opening leg he is, but he did miss. Was it 10 darts at double in the first match?
Indeed it was. It's
81.
not going to do you any favours.
Pete, you require 96.
This would do him a favour. You know what favour
38.
rhymes with?
Bradley, you require 97.
Flavour. I wonder what flavour crisps are his favourite. Double 19. Double top.
57.
Oh, there was some flavour on
you
that one.
require 58.
Double 10 for sound effects.
38.
No, still not. Paul
Bradley, you
Nicholson's
require 40.
mouth remains muffled.
Double 10.
30.
Darts are going in with a lot less wobble these days, which is really good to see from Bam Bam.
Game shot on the first
Begoy.
leg. Pete Begoy.
I'm only going to do it once. There it is. Because his surname does sound like a sound
Second
effect, doesn't
leg,
it?
it's Pete to throw first. Game on.
Well, we've got a few comments in the chat room. Do get involved on YouTube this evening if you are watching. We will try and give you an answer.
58.
When will Jensen Walker be back at Modus? One of them. Well, it won't be this series, already played, but potentially next series. Is there anything Paul Nicholson does not know anything about? Is one of the questions.
84.
Can you think of anything?
Off the top of my head?
140.
I think my general knowledge is pretty good. I'm just very interested in a lot of things.
Fun fact for Mr. Nicholson, the first ever players' darts I bought were his.
100.
Which ones?
Well, just say thank you for the royalties, Paul.
Thank you. I'll give you my grade on which ones you bought.
135.
Because some of them were awesome and there are a couple of sets that I wasn't particularly proud of.
A few comments saying up the U's, not sure what that's
60.
all about.
Yeah, that's useless information. We know what it means. We get told about it enough.
Plenty of support for
95.
Bradley.
As there should be. Still a 5 young player. And a lot of people forget, you know, he got his tour call when he was 16 years of age. It's not a new thing.
Yeah, it was superb.
55.
Very level-headed youngster. And always has been.
100.
He's got some really good friends around him as well. He's really good friends with Ted Everts. And there's someone I'd like to spend a bit more time with.
Game shot on a
There it is, a 2-0 lead for Pete. So it's Derby 2, Blackburn 0.
Third leg, it's Bradley to throw first.
When Ted Everts is back, we're going to start a little food chatter. Get his insight into how he makes his little truffles.
180.
That's particularly sweet.
96.
Oh, Pete continues to look at his hand as if to say, I'm not happy with either the grip on my dart or maybe something on my hand.
93.
That's why you've got to work really hard in getting the right dart into your hand for how your anatomy feels. If you constantly have
100.
sweaty hands or maybe hands that are too dry, find something that evens it out. There are residues out there you can use. You can use wax.
58.
We saw Mason Whitlock today just blowing on his fingertips a lot. Find something that works.
97. Bradley, you require 170.
We haven't seen one of these today. No, we're not going to see one tonight. From that moment right there. But this is a really nice recovery from Bradley. Just got to take care of business when he comes back.
180.
A really good pressurising visit from Pete Begoy. Tiles it on Bam Bam. Interesting. Unorthodox, effective. Brooks halves the deficit.
Big fan of that shot. Big fan. Confidence building shot as well. Didn't even think about the 25. That tells me that Bradley is playing well when coming into tonight. And when you consider his first visit here, it was in a Group C situation. He didn't play well on the first day. He admitted that. But the next day, he won 8 points from 10. And then he left us with his chin high
60.
And his tail up. He will be more ready for this than he was the last time. And that's why I expect him to be in the top 3.
121.
Well, he's won one of the first 3 here. As we look at the difference in throw, you see a big elbow drop, don't you, from Pete Begoy. Thoughts on that, Paul?
Very
60.
Jamie Lewis, who was someone that Bradley knows very well. I'm not necessarily a big fan of elbow dropping, unless it's completely necessary. Elbow height is so important.
37.
When you're talking about a projectile, you wouldn't look at the fulcrum on a catapult and lower that, would you? You'd want that to stay consistent
60.
back and through. But if you have an elbow drop because of a high address position, it's got to be consistent. What did we get from Jamie Lewis through his career? Inconsistency. When it was brilliant, it was very brilliant.
82.
When it was ordinary, it was very ordinary. With Pete, what he's got to do is with this field style throw, he must have a level of consistency
45.
with that elbow height
Bradley
and its
require
position, because it does
142.
have a tendency to waver left and right as well. Another one of those. That is a brilliant
110.
approach.
Pete, you require 151.
And now that he's got to look at it, this game could follow what we've just seen
119.
from Wazzy and
Bradley
Groeneveld.
require 32.
Double 8.
Game shot on the fourth
He
flag.
sent it around.
Bradley Brooks.
Well done to Bam Bam. Now he's got the darts, and he could follow Groeneveld in winning
Fifth flag,
4-2 from
Bradley to
2-0
throw
down.
First. Game on.
Oh, by the way, I thought of something that I don't know anything about.
Go on then.
Horse
100.
racing. very, very little I know about horse racing.
Who won the Grand National in 1982?
Probably Red Rum. I know it wasn't party politics because that was a little bit later, but that's about all I know. Desert Orchid didn't win the Grand National.
82.
Oh, no, you were wrong, Paul. So you're right. You don't know anything about horse racing. Horse called Gritter.
34.
Greta?
Gritter, like,
Oh,
you know,
okay.
someone who puts salt on the road.
It's not an activist then. Actually, it's funny you should say that because I do
100.
know of a gritting lorry that called itself Greta Thunberg. Little play on words.
85.
There we go. So we have actually managed to answer that question for you. Keep them coming in the chat. We will try and answer what we can.
140.
Paul Nicholson will know about most things, but not the horse racing.
Or the Greyhounds. I'll leave it up to Gezi Price because he does have a few
98.
runners in the race.
Bradley requires 79.
Well, Bradley Brooks has turned this around from that 2-0 deficit.
Just knows his way around the dartboard. He knows what to do
47.
when the situation presents itself. There was no need to panic there by going 19s. And if you don't fancy tops after a single 20,
100.
that was exactly the right
Bradley
thing to do.
requires 32.
Yeah, really good stuff from Bradley Brooks. Pete Begoy started this game so well. That's tricky.
He's going to need a key to get through there.
Gets on
Oh,
the
that
fifth
is
leg,
killer.
Bradley Brooks.
It's murder on the dartboard by Bradley Brooks.
He didn't go full Yorkshire there.
Sixth
He could have said
leg,
murder
it's
on
Pete to throw
dartboard.
first. Game on.
Good darts from Pete, but
140.
you can understand why he's got a few beads of sweat on the old brow now. Whereas Bradley has not panicked at any point in this match.
140.
It's a really interesting flight that Peter's got on
60.
the end of his darts. I'm not really sure how to describe it. Looks almost like a cross between an Austin Powers shirt and Bet Gilroy's blouse from Coronation Street.
140.
Look at those wild things.
100.
Groovy, baby.
Didn't think Bet Gilroy's blouse would get a mention tonight.
Maybe we'll mention it again when Wozzie's on fire, because didn't she escape from a fire in the Rovers
91.
years ago? Yeah, one of the things that I do know about her, this useless information, apparently she had a scene where she threw up when she was going down the stairs, and they used milk as the prop.
165.
But
Bradley
nothing
require
milky about that
130.
165.
That was very sweet, but it could be totally in vain. Only needed the single there, Bradley Brooks. Didn't need to force it into the treble, and he's really frustrated with himself, isn't he?
He just lost the line. That's all it was.
Pete, you require 36.
That can happen to anybody.
On the sixth leg. Pete
But for the first time
Begoy.
tonight, we're going to go the distance. This one's been toing and froing since the start. 2-0 to Pete,
Seventh and
then
final
3-2
leg.
to
It's Bradley
Brad.
to throw
We all
first.
level, and it's a one-leg
Game
shootout.
on.
Very good game. Decent standard as well, both averaging 88.
Time for a couple more questions. Did Paul Nicholson... It seems to be an Ask the Asset revival, this, doesn't it? Remember that?
97.
Did Paul Nicholson get the inspiration for his tie from Rod Harrington?
No. Got it from Tom Kirby.
60.
There you go. Another question answered. Kevin, thank you for that. Yeah, it is a tight game. But who will win it? Pete Begoy had the better of the early exchanges. Bradley Brooks bounced back.
121.
Denied himself a dart at the bull. Begoy has sharpened up his doubling in this game. But is he going to get a go at a double in this leg?
55.
Do you know what I love about watching Pete play? Because I really, really enjoy it when he comes here. It's almost as if he's creating his own sound effects when he throws. Look at the
85.
right-hand side of the screen here when he throws the dart. It's almost like a whoosh. Okay, just don't bother.
58.
He almost does a Colin Monk where he mouths the letter O.
It's like there's a bit of string attached to the end of the flight, isn't it? And when you pull the dart away, the mouth opens.
Pretty much. Let's hope we can keep it on there this time.
140.
Don't let me down, Pete.
$60.
It's almost like someone saying, "Oh, suits you, sir." I'll tell you what suits Brad: a 4-3 victory.
And that's exactly what he gets. Suits you, sir. A 4-3 win for Bradley Brooks, who gets the point in his opening match and leaves Pete Begoy battered and bruised because he's now lost 2. A 4-0 defeat at the hands of Conan Whitehead, followed by a last leg decider loss versus Bradley Brooks, who played well in the game, averaged 91, 4 out of 11 on the doubles. A high checkout of 65, but a winning start is all he will care about. And Conan Whitehead is coming up next. He's looking to double his points tally, while his opponent, David Wawrzewski, is hoping to get off the mark.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
You need to count to 5 in your mic, mate, if that's alright?
Okay.
That's okay. Do you want to count to 5 in your mic? So like this, tall. Like,
Oh, I thought in my mind.
Brilliant, isn't it? Jimmy Van Schie won week 6 in sensational style on an evening that boasted the best darts atmosphere ever. And you can relive this very dramatic finals night on the Modus Super Series YouTube channel. There's also plenty more content, including a darts-themed penalty shootout, our chat with legendary referee Paul Hinks, and an interview with the ever-popular Ashley Coleman, who recently made his Modus Super Series debut. Also on the YouTube channel at the moment is when Mr. Nicholson met Mason Whitlock, who of course played this afternoon, but live right now and top billing for David Wawrzewski and Conan Whitehead. Two players who've played here many times. One, of course, who has won the whole shebang, the first ever player to do it, and entertained in his opening match tonight, Paul.
Yeah, very entertaining indeed. And don't underestimate just how entertaining David was as well. He was in a good position against Corne Groeneveld, but unfortunately wasn't able to get the job done.
Game on.
But these two really know each other well. They swim in the same sort of circles. A couple of sharks in the London and Kent scene, and now they will go toe-to-toe to see who gets another 2 points on offer here in game number 4. But before we go any further, many congratulations to Michael van Gerwen, who has won the Premier League night in Birmingham tonight at the expense of Luke Littler. So all of the panic stations that have been saying hello to the Van Gerwen fans over the last couple of weeks. Panic
100.
over. Another 5 points for him. Well done to Michael.
$60.
A few more comments in the YouTube chat. One says, shut up about Coronation Street. The very next comment replied, what would you rather, Emmerdale?
85.
Quite like that.
100.
I stopped watching Corrie straight after that fire, by the way. That was 30 years ago.
There's some people talking about the Premier League. They've been watching that. Now they've come to join us. Welcome. If you have done that, we'll just remind you what's happened so far. Conan Whitehead got a 4-0 win against Pete Begoy in his opening match. David Wawrzewski was 2-0 up on Corne Groeneveld, but then lost the following 4 legs. And then Bradley Brooks beat Pete Begoy 4-3. Wawrzewski's 180, puts him on tops.
First one of the night as well.
57. David, you require 40.
Never had a problem getting out of the blocks. Big Wazzy.
Game shot
Right in the corner, that'll do for an opening break. Apparently Wazzy is on fire again with a very, very pink shirt. It's up to his opponent to try and put him out. There's an awful lot going on in that shirt. It looks like a cross between a 1980s episode of Top of the Pops and Red Dwarf.
Yeah, it's a bit old school, isn't it? That font and graphic on the back.
I kind of like it.
56.
Retro.
A new retro. I remember when retro was 60s and 70s.
140.
I think Conan's gone for the splatter. Just give me a black shirt like it's been attacked by a can of white paint.
123.
I like it. And he's got a barbarian on the back, which is a good thing to do, considering that's his nickname.
85.
A couple of good comebacks in the last 2 games. One comment says, yeah, absolutely. Wawrzewski on the wrong end of the opening one.
98. David, you're
not going to get any easier.
36.
Conan, arguably his toughest opponent
45.
in this group. And if he walks into the second half of play tonight with no points, he's already on the chase.
84. David, you require 91.
Okay, I can get behind this.
59. Conan, you require
He's so
140.
quick in mind. He knows exactly what he wants to do, almost as if he's doing it in motion. He knows exactly what he's doing now, as every dart player at this level would. Straight to the hockey, straight back and through. Last start.
24.
And in that department,
Conan,
he
you
has
require
been a tiny bit
115.
suspect since he was 2-0 up in his first match. And for someone who
57.
loves treble 15,
David, you
I'm
require
almost surprised in that spot that he didn't go 45 bull.
So was he to get to the same position he was in the previous match? 2-2 for 2-0. Found.
Shot on a second leg.
Can he
David
close it out this
Wawrzewski.
time? Remember, in the previous game, he missed 6 starts to lead that one 3-0.
Third leg. It's Conan to throw first. Game on.
Conan Whitehead has hit a 180 in every match he's played this week.
108.
And there is another.
17 and counting. I might even have to go back on our
83.
records to see if he got one in the last game he played in a previous week. Because this is getting silly. can't possibly have happened before
140.
where someone has had this many games consecutively with a 180.
Yeah.
This is getting ridiculous now.
140.
Full credit to him. And it's a 180 that puts him back in this. Don't hit one now, Co.
Absolutely the right thing to do.
Yeah, changed his mind.
105.
Having hit the 25, he goes back up for the treble 20. Would have gone elsewhere had he hit the ball.
Yeah, look at the back of his shirt, Conan's. Just had a little glance at it.
140.
Looks a bit less like
Conan, you
a
require
barbarian and
76.
like that thing from Stranger Things. He's going to go to the right-hand side and try and sneak it in.
60. David, you require 138.
Oh, it does look like a barbarian. It was a different angle. This is still on. It wasn't for long.
$106.
So, double eight
Conan, you
for
require
Whitehead
16.
for a 13 dart leg to get back in the game. Now double 4.
Game shot on
And
the
he
third
does
leg. Conan
find
Whitehead.
that target.
Is there anybody at this level of darts who's more tenacious than Conan?
Fourth leg. It's
good
David
question.
to throw first.
That's a really good question
Game
for
on.
everybody watching. If you're a regular viewer of the Modus Super Series, his reputation precedes him. But is there anybody more tenacious than this guy? In his age bracket, with his experience, I can't think of one.
140.
And he's someone who's had to scrap for everything he's had.
Yeah, I think a couple of the senior players that I would put in the same bracket that play here, the likes of Andy
100.
Hamilton.
Choco Thornton.
Yeah, although I haven't seen much of it this week.
123.
Yeah, we've got some gutsy guys and girls.
But you are Mr. Popular tonight, Paul. Question after
66.
question in the chat room for you. Another one here. What was it like coming back from 2-0 down to beat Dennis Priestley in the 2009 Worlds?
Lots of fun.
120.
It's my favourite game of all time. For many, many reasons. The people who saw it from close quarters, who travelled to watch me, it was one of the calmest games I've ever played. I
85.
felt like I was in control.
Conan, you require
Even when I was 2-0 down, I felt good. And who I did it against. It was a dream come true. And if I'd stopped right there, I would have been just as happy as I am now. True story.
78. David, you require 110.
Good memories. Kind of Whitehead, a man who's got magical memories
86.
here at the Modus
Conan, you
Super
require
Series. Looking at
40.
tops to level up
shot
at
on the fourth
2-2,
leg.
and this
Conan
could be
Whitehead.
becoming a problem for David Wawrzewski.
2 consecutive games where he's had a
Fifth
2-0
leg, it's
lead
Conan to throw first.
and let it slip.
Game on.
He'll be hoping this is not a pattern that is emerging into an exponential problem.
60. $43.
You'd never think there was a problem with Wazzy. He never gives anything away. I will say that he plays an elite poker-faced game up there. He
140.
gives no weakness in signals or body language or facial expressions. He just gets on with it.
60.
It's a really good lesson to young dart players. If you've got a style, stick with it. And if you do feel weak, don't project it. There it is.
108.
Another 180 for Mr. Whitehead. That is now 32
140.
for the week.
Conan, you require 121.
As the game goes on, he's improving. His average is climbing.
65. $100. Conan, you
16 for
require
double top.
56.
There's the single.
Game
And
shot on
there's the
fifth leg,
tops.
Conan Whitehead.
Great doubling in this match in Group A. Maybe sometimes in his first match tonight. He was a little bit suspect. But he's still got the win. You notice he's got the name of his daughter on the back of his collar as well.
60.
When putting the names of your children on the shirt, I think it's a lovely thing to do. But not many of those children have actually been in the building when their dad has succeeded in said place. But Ada was here, wasn't she?
Yeah, she certainly was. Very, very young. There's also a very nice touch on the front of the shirt of David Wawrzewski, actually. He's wearing the Forget-Me-Not, the symbol for the Alzheimer's Society.
45.
I'm a big fan of people supporting charities when they come here. And if it's close to your heart, you represent.
100.
I do a lot of charity work every Christmas for Battersea Dog and Cats Home.
57.
Should never forget. It's not just about the humans, it's about the animals as well. As you see the badge right there of the Forget-Me-Not.
100.
I also do some work for the Salvation Army as well, which is a charity that have done an awful lot for my family in the past. And they do an awful lot of work around Portsmouth.
77.
And we here at the Modus Super Series have got a charity event coming up.
56.
It is a sort of a pro-am. It's darts players and
94.
influencers, social media stars. Bradley Brooks actually is in this group, is part of the lineup for that. It's on the 28th of April. It gets underway at 3 p.m. live on the Modus Super Series YouTube channel in front of a full house
David
here at the Live Lounge
62.
in Portsmouth. So do tune in and support that event. But it shouldn't matter too much, that, for Wazzy. He will come back with whatever he leaves.
I wonder why it's called Wazzy. Might have something to do with the fact that he's got a lot of Z's and W's in his name.
One of those where his mates found it quite hard to pronounce his surname, so they just made that up.
Just
David,
call him Dave then.
40.
Just couldn't have Dave.
Game shot on a sick flag.
We have a level
David
game
Wawrzewski.
once again for the second game in succession. We're going the distance. How many surnames can you think of? They've got 3 W's in it.
To throw first. Game on.
If Conan doesn't come out with a win from this game, he's going to be livid.
41.
His average has plummeted by 10 points in the last leg and a half. And Wawrzewski has maintained a 90 almost throughout. This is where you need that tenacity.
92.
Is there anybody better on that treble 18 at the Modus Super Series than Conan? He is noted for certain things. His love for the 18
100.
section, his tenacity, and his will to win. Oh, maybe he was
85.
searching for that treble just a little bit too eagerly. And an 18-point lead might not be enough.
100.
He's not going to leave a finish now.
Yeah, and he's starting to look a little bit frustrated.
26.
You mentioned that tenacious streak he has in him, but it also has the other side of it, doesn't it? That he's going to react to his own misfortune, and when it doesn't go his way,
78.
he will react.
That's 2 visits in a row now that Wazzy has got his big treble right at the end.
Yeah, and 3 out of 4.
97. David, you require 123.
With dart 1 or 2 here. And that doesn't happen, so Conan Whitehead will get a look at
91.
160. And who am I
Conan, you require
to back against him?
160.
It was gaping.
100.
Now Wazzy,
David, you require
can you finish the
32.
job?
No score.
They weren't badly thrown
Conan, you
darts.
require 60.
Just did not go in.
Does this. Dart in the way.
Bit awkward, isn't it?
Nothing in the way. Oh
40.
my word. Look how close it was.
David, you require 32.
some reaction, but Wawrzewski breathes again. And this time, he hits. And this time, Wazzy wins. Success over Conan Whitehead, who, following that perfect start, has been beaten in Group B. It's a 4-3 win for David Wawrzewski, who averages 87 and change in that one. The doubling still needs sharpening up, you feel, when he is in crucial legs. He's missing at crucial times, but finally manages to cross the line. Whitehead will lick his wounds and return for a game with Groeneveld in a couple of matches' time, but the Dutchman will be back next against Bradley Brooks. Eyes down looking for your next match here at the Modus Super Series as Groeneveld takes on Bradley Brooks, two top talents. One of them with a win against Pete Begoy and the other with a win against David Wawrzewski. Both players getting victories in their opening encounters, which means following Conan Whitehead's defeat to Wawrzewski in the previous match, that the winner of this one will go top of the table.
Simple as that. 4 points on offer for the winner of this game. That's the goal overall. Only 2 points for the win, of course, but 4 points at the halfway point will be very, very good for somebody.
First. Game on.
Got to be honest, I've never seen the first name Cornet before.
100.
I've been hanging around the Dutch lads for quite a few years. Seen a lot of Vincents. Seen a lot of Michaels. Lots of different names
59.
in the Netherlands and Belgium and Germany, but a Cornet? Nope, that's the first one on me.
60.
I think Bradley Brooks should be very happy with his first win tonight. Average 90, 4 out of 11 on doubles. That's satisfactory at worst.
96.
Got himself a maximum. fought back. I think that tells you an awful lot about where Bradley's at with his game.
We're talking first names. We do have a Dutch Bradley, of course, and he's already through to Champions Week. Bradley Roos.
100.
And I think he should get his own chant. It should sound like a boo, but it's not. It's Roos.
140.
Well, Jimmy Van Ski seemed to have captured the hearts of the audience on Saturday night.
How does he get down the hill?
122.
On skis.
Corner, you require 105.
Oh, nicely done.
Corner, Groeneveld.
Just at the time at home, a few people were doing a few Groenevelds. He produced a bit of magic.
To throw first.
So what are you trying to say? When he gets a ton plus checkout, people have got to groan. Seems like there's a really good dynamic in the practice room tonight between some of these lads. Let's face it, two of them are going to spend 5 days together in Group A and Group B. Just imagine how awkward that would be if it was with someone that you didn't really like. It wouldn't
96.
necessarily be a good thing because you're in close quarters. Just got to get on and do your own thing, haven't you? It is a single sport after all, but it's a lot easier when there are 5 guys or girls in the practice room who genuinely get along. It's just less bandwidth used up.
I tell you what, this is turning into a ridiculously strong scoring performance.
96.
From Bradley Brooks.
Bradley require 94.
That 105 prevented him having a dart double in the previous leg. He's going to get at least 3 here.
$80. Bradley require 40.
If his doubling is as good as his scoring, could be a good match.
Well, it should be a mismatch.
Game shot on the second leg. Bradley
He finds himself level at 1 apiece, despite the fact he's averaging 20 points more than his opponent.
Anybody who's watched the last 3 darts from Bradley, kindly tell me how you use a guide better than that. Just above the double top, he somehow finds the gap between the dart and the double, then nestles the next one right underneath. That is a sign of someone in form. And he's done it again. Grouping from the gods.
And look at those numbers now.
100.
We were hopeful, weren't we? Considering what he did yesterday.
95.
Yep, he hit a 9-darter. Bradley Brooks last night in a local
51.
darts tournament. Came down from Blackburn to Hampshire. Played in an event, I believe, at the Phoenix Club in Waterlooville. And hit a 9-darter. And it is an event that many of the players, when they're down here, go and play,
44.
don't they, for a bit of extra practice. So that would have given him a good feeling to have done it in front of some of his potential rivals.
Well, this is a hot spot of darts in England.
121.
They do have some tremendous local competitions around the Portsmouth area and towards Southampton as well. So it just goes to show that Bradley has done his research
140.
and he's got himself primed for this challenge in the best possible way. Corner is on 88.
125.
Brooks, by the way, did go on to
Bradley
win the tournament
42.
last night. Would he be winning the tournament this week? He opts for tops.
And why wouldn't he? After the last shot. This is something I haven't seen from Brad before.
Game shot
That
on the third
pause
leg.
before that
Bradley
shot,
Brooks.
I'm impressed.
And Bradley Brooks, just to finish that point, beat Charlie
Fourth
Large in
leg.
the
It's
final.
Bradley
A
to throw first.
local Portsmouth player
Game
who
on.
has been here at the Super Series before. And quite aptly, for a man nicknamed The Feast, Pete Begoy won the plate.
58.
But did he eat the plate?
55.
The paper, was it China?
The plate, for those who aren't versed in sort of those types of darts tournaments, is a secondary tournament for the players who were beaten in the first round, so they get their money's worth and a good night out.
93.
It's a good idea because the last thing you want to do when you go to a darts competition is get eliminated in the first round and go home. You want to have another crack. Sometimes it's actually better to lose in round 1 and have another tournament than lose in round 2.
$40.
I think that's one of the main reasons why we brought the Modus Super Series to Portsmouth,
60.
because of just how strong Hampshire as a county has been for the last 35, 40 years.
It seems to be opposite ends of the country, doesn't it, where the real hotbeds are right now. One in your old neck of the woods, the northeast of England,
80.
and now your new neck of the woods.
I just follow the darts wherever they go. I'm a darting nomad.
24.
I have actually lived very close to where Bradley's from. I lived in Bamber Bridge, just off the M6, which is on the way to Blackburn.
140.
It's like that song, isn't it? I've been everywhere, man.
123.
Already
Bradley
seen
require 90.
Groeneveld take out the 105, so Brooks would be well advised to hit tops.
Game
Of course
shot
he
on
does, and the
full flag,
confidence.
Bradley Brooks.
The confidence to go that route. Bull tops, 2 darts, bam, bam.
Big fan of that.
Fifth flag, it's Cornet to throw first.
Big fan of what he's
Game
doing. He is a different player to the Bam Bam that was here the last time.
97.
He is really looking good.
Well,
Well, he's averaging now 103 after 4 and a bit legs. This is really strong stuff. 2 tons, 5 140s, 2 180s, a 90 checkout, 3 out of 5 on the doubles. The statistics are stunning. And Groeneveld hasn't done too much wrong himself.
134.
He's been all right. He's been closed out, though, and that is what happens when someone plays an exceptional game
60.
of darts. They just don't give you the chances. In order to win every game that you play when you come to the Modus Super Series, you have to restrict your opponents to less than 4 darts at double. That is what Bradley is doing in this game. And this will be some culmination
96.
to this performance.
Bradley require 170.
It would be the perfect way to have ended a near-perfect performance.
93.
That's not the
Cornet
worst miss
require
either.
108.
Single. Double 16. Game continues.
Shot on the fifth flag, Cornet Groeneveld.
He is rattling around that stage like he's a speed skater.
Sixth flag, it's Bradley to
Well,
throw
it's been
first.
the scoring of Brooks and the
Game
finishing
on.
of Groeneveld, because he's had 2 legs in his gift in this game, and both of them have been with 3-figure finishes, a 105 and a 108. He's only had one other dart at double.
What do you make of Groeneveld in this game? Because
140.
he is rattling around this stage like he's got a buster catch, and he is grasping those darts out the board and not even looking at them at the same time. It's like he's having a tiff with them.
Feels like, unlike many games we saw this afternoon, a match where both players are really enjoying themselves.
Correct.
60.
My dad always taught me when I was a kid. I don't know why he made me do this for a period of about 6 months.
58.
He said, don't you dare take your darts out the board all together. Take them out one at a time. He told me at the time it was because it would save the life of the dartboard. I just listened to him. I thought he was right. But when I see people grasp all 3 at once, it makes my stomach churn.
180.
Well, after
Cornet require 121.
placing 3 so closely together, it's difficult to resist the temptation, and that's what this pair keep doing.
85.
I'm rather breathless at the minute because
require
this game feels like it's
104.
speeding up.
But it might be about to finish, but that dart is a disaster for Brooks, who's played so well in this game,
Cornet
but might
require
find himself
36.
having to break in a decider.
Game shot on the sixth flag.
That's exactly
Cornet
where he
Groeneveld.
is, because Corne Groeneveld's finishing has been so good in this match
7th and final leg. It's Corne
that
to
he's
throw
forced
first.
the decider
Game on.
against a man averaging just shy of 100.
Have you ever been to the Netherlands and seen a lot of this cafe culture
26.
knockout darts that they have over there? It's a sickeningly high standard. And that's what this will feel like for Corne. It'll feel like a Dutch game in a cafe where he's really comfortable and it's really quick
140.
and good. And he looks so comfortable in this sort of company.
But the reason that he has been able to make it 3-3 is because the finishing has been so good. 3 out of 4 on the doubles, Corne Groeneveld. So Bradley Brooks can keep doing this, but when Groeneveld's got chances, he's taken them.
100.
Brooks has got the darts. Can he measure his patience to perfection? Because he has
91.
had to remain patient after this mini onslaught from Groeneveld. It is a chance
45.
to win the
Bradley
match
require 130.
with a little bit of breathing space attached.
He can go wherever he likes here.
56.
If you're asking yourself why he didn't go for the shot, it's because the 60 was blocked and he wanted to make sure that 20 counted. He didn't want
60.
to bounce on the floor.
Bradley requires 74.
Treble 14 would leave double 16. And that's what he hits. And that has been a game of the highest quality here at the Modus Super Series. It is Bam Bam Bradley Brooks who beats Corne Groeneveld, who himself played a huge part in that match. 4-3 to Brooks, but a 91 average from the defeated player who hit 3 out of 4 double attempts. That's sensational, including 2 ton plus checkouts, but it's a ton topping average for Brooks. Himself 4 out of 6. It was almost flawless for the pair of them. A nice 90 finish in there as well. Look at that, though. 7 scores of 140 or more, plus 3 maximums in that match. Brooks was scoring so strongly, and he did it again in the last leg to break and pick up a win that sees him move to the top of the table. Coming up after the break, Pete Begoy is going to take on David Wawrzewski. Well, it was absolutely breathless stuff from Bradley Brooks before the break, wasn't it, Paul? As he emerged as the favourite now in this group.
Yeah, I think so. I think we talked a lot about Conan at the start of the night, but he stumbled a little bit, and Bradley has shown an immeasurable amount of patience in a short format. But we both watched that match, Murph, and when an onslaught was coming from Groeneveld, he didn't panic. He's showing immense maturity in short format darts and showing that maybe he's learned an awful lot since the last time he was here.
Well, let's just recap what has happened so far tonight. The 5 fixtures that have been completed there for everyone to see. 4 of them, actually won by the player who did not throw first in the match. Pete Begoy losing both of his games. Conan Whitehead winning 1 and losing 1, but it's Bradley Brooks with 2 wins, and Groeneveld can probably feel quite aggrieved that he's played so well and doesn't have that record himself.
It happens in Group B situations. You're going to be up against some great players in an environment that they like, because most dart players prefer to play in the evening. But where have we seen before 4 players winning against the darts in a row, or out of 5 games? Yeah, it was about a week ago, wasn't it? Because we had 9 in a row last Thursday night, and it was only Martin Adams that stopped the streak of 10 games won against the darts. So I'm not shocked to see that.
Let's talk about a few of the players tonight. The favourite before the night started, as you just mentioned, was Conan Whitehead, and the way that he started kind of sent a message out, didn't it?
Yeah, he's won a fair amount of games this week for where he's at form-wise, but this is what you get from Conan. It's flamboyant, it's very effective, and it makes sense. 17 games in a row he's won. Oh, he's put a 180 in there. I expect him to get one in his next match as well. But he's been here and done it and worn the T-shirt. And you do expect him to get through, but there are going to be stumbles along the way. He's had one. It's how he reacts after this that will define him.
And now and again at the Super Series, you get really, really brilliant, breathtaking games. You were saying that you were feeling a little bit breathless in that match between Brooks and Groeneveld. Just how good was that match as a spectacle?
It was brilliant. Now, Bradley has had his own ups and downs over the last few years. He's still very, very young, but his capability of not panicking under pressure when someone is almost speed skating around the stage with confidence like Groeneveld was. Just look at his facial expressions when he's in these situations here. It is like it's the first dart of the contest. He turns around, he's done his job, he moves on to the next one. And if you can replicate that, you will have an awful lot of success here. I really do think that success in this arena is inevitable for Bradley Brooks. And
for Cornet, he played his part in that defeat to Bradley Brooks. Great game, but he did get a win earlier. All the signs are pretty good, aren't they, for him?
Yes, they are. The difference is far from ideal, but it's not really bad. So that's something we can touch on a little bit later, but he's incredibly competitive. I didn't get a great deal of a chance to see him earlier in the week, but I studied his numbers. I was pleasantly surprised by them, and we are learning more about him by the day. He is a of grounding, but if you've got 0 points, having to win your final 4 against people that have already beaten you, that's a hard mountain to climb. So if I were Pete, I'd get a move on and make sure that the leg difference, the damage is almost minimised. But first and foremost, please get some points.
Yep, and he plays his next game now. He's up against David Wawrzewski. Both players battling it out, trying to pick up points that could get them to Saturday night. And you could be there as well. Here's how.
Every Saturday, we open our doors for our weekly finals night.
For a unique and intimate darts experience.
Meet the Dart Stars and even the team off the telly.
Here at our purpose-built venue in Portsmouth.
Every single Saturday evening.
Tickets can be booked via this QR code.
Or at www.dartshop.tv for a very small booking fee.
Follow us at MSS Darts on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram and TikTok.
For all the latest ticketing news.
All you need to do, log on, book, turn up, and the action gets underway from 7:30 p.m.
So what are you waiting for?
Get your tickets to the darts.
We look forward to welcoming you to the Modus Super Series very soon.
Yeah, all about trying to get to Saturday, and we've had some fantastic Saturday nights lately. If you haven't been yet, get yourselves down here to the Super Series because it is an awful lot of fun. If you are in and around Portsmouth or just fancy taking the trip, which a few people have done recently from far and wide to come and tick the live lounge off their darting chuck it list. And Pete Begoy and David Wawrzewski. Well, I am going to make a prediction here, Paul. I think one of them could be there. I can't see a way that both of them will be.
First
I think that's a fair assumption.
To throw first. Game on.
Easy to say that it could be Wazzy because he's got points and Pete does not. They've both got 2 games remaining tonight.
58.
That places an awful lot of importance on this fixture. And one thing we do know about David is that he's very good at getting out of the traps and taking leads into what could be the second half of the match.
100.
If he does that again, he might just put Pete in the corner and he might not be able to get out. So keep doing what you're doing, David. Easy for me to say. If you haven't been to a Saturday here in Portsmouth,
81.
do yourself a favour and come on down. If last Saturday is anything to go by, and you can check our social feeds
43.
for the atmosphere, and you can check out that QR code to see if you can get your tickets to come and see us this Saturday or any Saturday for the rest of this series. If you want to be here on Champions Night in late May, you might want to be quick because I think those tickets are very close to being sold out.
81.
Yep, flying out.
$125.
Here's the thing as well. A year ago, it cost you £2 to see Luke Littler win a title.
45.
Now it would cost you a bit more than that.
81.
Yeah, good point. And who knows when the next I was there moment will be. Maybe we had one last Saturday.
56.
Can you imagine if Jimmy Van
David
Schie makes the championship game
132.
in late May? Imagine the noise.
64.
But both players tonight
Pete, you
have
require
been
25.
culpable for missing doubles.
Game shot
That
on the
does
first
not
leg,
happen
Pete Burgoyne.
to Pete Burgoyne. They're not
Second
quite
leg,
sure
it's David
whose
to throw first.
throw that was, or
Game
Pete's
on.
not. I think David was pretty sure.
It's amazing how many dart players like a little conference as if to say, did you throw first?
121.
I always used to say one thing to myself at the start of a match. Odd or even. If I won the bull, I would say odd
58.
to myself, which is something I said to myself a lot. But if I lost the bull, I'd say even.
100.
And if I was ever in a bit of a tiz, I'd say, is it an odd or an even leg? And then I'd know.
Wasn't there one of the editions of the World Cup of Darts where it was effectively
27.
mugs away?
Yeah, we were all confused by that. So if you won the leg, you did not have the darts in the next leg. The PDC have actually done a few quirky formats. They did equal darts in the 90s.
Great video on YouTube for you to watch.
140.
About that, it gives you a choice. Say your opponent went out in
140.
12 and you've got 50 left or something. Or say they went out in 11 and you've got 50 left. What do you do? Go straight for it for the 10?
David, you
Or
require
do you try and
40.
level?
Well, there's a famous knockout tournament
Game
around
shot
the
on
country
second leg,
as David takes
Wawrzewski.
that one in 13 darts with a wicked leg there. It used to be equal darts, the CIU
Third
singles,
leg, it's
something
Pete to
that
throw first.
the Dobie family
Game
have done very well in over the years. A national competition of the CIU clubs, and
30.
historically it was equal darts. So if you had a 14 darter and someone was on, I don't know, 100, they could
100.
equalise your leg if they go 60 tops. You'd have to replay the leg.
Couple more questions for you, Paul, tonight.
100.
This is one that's going to lose you a lot of friends, but win you one. For you, who's got the best
100.
voice in sport?
Chris Collingsworth. American football commentator. Absolutely
100.
incredible voice.
I thought you were going to say Aaron Beanie.
Aaron Beanie's got one heck of a set of lungs on him.
92.
I've heard rumours about his dart shirt tomorrow as well. I'm not going to spoil it, but just tune in from 1 p.m.
Turn on, tune in,
133.
cop out. Just like the song. Yeah, there's some great voices in sport. My personal commentary hero is a guy called Jim Proudfoot, who I got to know just over a decade ago. But Chris Collingsworth, as far as knowledge, insight, and everything to do with what he does in the NFL, he has me gripped. And I'm a big fan of Jim Nantz as well, who does the Masters and American football for CBS in America. Who isn't?
Double 18, wow, for Wawrzewski. A quick fire finish of 110, and he does get to walk straight back down the hockey, having broken the throat.
Have you got a favourite 9-darter, Murph?
Good question.
85.
Leave it with me for a moment. It's not the one that everyone thinks, I'll tell you that much straight away.
Mine's Sean Greatbatch's 9-darter in the Dutch Open in 2002.
43.
Because of the commentary, because it was in Dutch. Ja, double 18, 9-darter. Loved it.
100.
Absolutely loved that.
If we're going commentary, I'm going to say Simon Whitlock against Andy Hamilton
22.
in the Premier League. I think it was 2013, 2012, 2013.
Yeah, it was after the 2012 World Championship, so it was 2012, yeah.
And
94.
it was... Both players had started with a 180, hadn't they? And I think one commentator went, could he? Could he? Then he missed. And the other one, the great John Gwynn,
96.
came in and said the same thing and ended up being part of a 9-dart leg. And he gave Simon Whitlock the biggest monologue of honour
100.
at the end of that leg. It was fantastic.
I think the greatest words ever used for a 9-darter were by Dave Lanning when Phil got the second
60.
9-darter in at Wembley Arena. But then again, anything Dave Lanning said was gold.
65.
Well, maybe we'll get one this week.
With shots like this.
140.
I lined it up as
David
well.
Require 57.
He lined it up, he just didn't get the weight of dart right. However, Wazzy did.
David Wawrzewski.
3-1, and things for Pete are going a little bit south.
Fifth leg, it's Pete to throw first. Game on.
Oh no. And that happens more with moulded flights, in my opinion. Am I right to say that? Because there are so many more players using moulded flight technology these days, but I'm seeing more collisions like that than ever before.
Well, they're really rigid, aren't they?
140.
So a slight difference in setup and angle of entry, actually.
60.
Yeah, a bit of an old school setup, this one from Wazzy. You don't see many people using kite-shaped flight. Having said that, on this darting day in 2010, someone who famously used kite flights won a tournament. The great Mark Walsh.
60.
If I could turn back time and have somebody play in this format, close to the top of my list would be
60.
Walshy. When he was playing around 2008 to 2010, what a player. So good.
92. Pete, you require
Never put in massive
140.
numbers, but was so effective.
60.
Well, Wazzy will find that that was not enough, giving himself a bit of an opportunity here to get close to the victory. And 81 is a bare minimum shot.
80.
25 in bull. Not found. So Wazzy, who does have
48.
a ton plus checkout in this game, will be looking for another to win.
Well, he could have still
76.
made it after the
Heat you
first
require
start
32.
was let loose. But Begoy trying to stay in this by landing double 16.
Game shot on a fifth
Very,
leg,
very
Pete
well
Begoy.
used, those marker darts. And he stays in this match.
Sixth leg, it's David to throw first. Game on.
Has not missed a dart at double in this match. Was he? 3 from 3.
60.
But going 2 from 5. That is very acceptable. So both of them can give themselves a pat on the back. However, they won't until the job is done.
85.
The corresponding counties that these players
42.
are from represent a darting rivalry for the ages. London and Derbyshire.
43.
Sounds a bit like Bristow and Lowe to me. Lowe is famously from Derbyshire. Chesterfield, I believe.
140.
And the crafty Cockney, well, you don't get a nickname like that unless you're from London. Even though he did play for Merseyside at times.
85.
They were very different people, weren't they? Bristow and Lowe. I'm not sure how they could have been more different.
I think it was needed, though, wasn't it? That sort of contrasting characters. You would support one, wouldn't you? And that in itself brought eyes to the game.
58.
Yeah, I was a Bob Anderson guy. Come 88, I was a Bob Anderson super fan. And as a 9-year-old, I started pointing at the board when I got 26, never mind 180.
100. David, you require 170.
Well, what will he do if he hits a 170? We won't find out. Begoy's going to get the chance here to level.
60.
Just think for me that
Pete,
David
you require
Wawrzewski's night has had
78.
too much drama.
Seems to slow down towards the end, doesn't he?
Game shot on a sixth
And this
leg,
is Pete
Begoy.
speeding up. We are being treated to a lot of legs in the last 4 to 5 matches. 4-2, 4-3, 4-3, 4-3, and this will be 4-3 as well. If Pete loses this leg, he's in real trouble in this table. This is the biggest leg of his night.
100.
Sometimes I can level criticism at players, but I say these things so if they watch it back, they can learn from it. Is Pete just working a little too hard? He just needs to relax into this. I know he wants to win this leg.
55.
But the amount of torture he's going through mentally, it will spend the amount of energy he's got left. He might need some of that a little bit later.
60.
When he's playing against Groeneveld in Game 9.
That's a really good dart, though. Followed by another. How about that? What a time. Even though it doesn't leave a finish, it does put Pete Begoy in charge of this match.
140.
They shouldn't have called him the Feast. They should have called him the Human Emoji Machine. He's got so many face pulls when he plays darts. He's so entertaining to watch.
44.
You can't really say that Wawrzewski has blown this. Begoy has found a moment of brilliance
100.
at the key time in this match. And the leg is not over yet. The match is not over yet. But it will be if Begoy beds the ball.
97. David, you require 101.
Right now, Pete is feeling hopeful. That hope
38.
has turned into a chance.
Pete,
Another chance
25.
to get his first win of the group.
Double 12.
1.
Cannot find it.
David, you
and there is
require
anguish
63.
etched all over his face.
It's larceny time. Double 6.
51.
He can't pinch it.
Pete, you
I don't think he's happy with his
24.
attempts at double 6.
And it means that the feast will come back
Game shot.
and gobble
Done
up the double.
match. Pete Begoy.
Begoy gets the better of Wawrzewski. A 4-3 victory for the Derby Darter, and it is 4 straight last leg deciders now tonight. Begoy on the wrong end of one against Bradley Brooks, having been beaten 4-0 by Conan Whitehead earlier, but now he does get off the mark despite a significantly lower average than Wawrzewski in that game, but he does have points, 2 of them, as do Wawrzewski himself, Groeneveld and Whitehead, who go head-to-head after the break.
Welcome back to Portsmouth, and we are into game number 7 in Group B now, and this is the head-to-head that we know a fair bit about from Group A, because in previous group times it has been predominantly success for Whitehead against Groeneveld. He'll be hoping that that continues, but this group all of a sudden is about as tight as 2 coats of paint. You have Bradley Brooks at the top on 4 points, and whatever happens here, someone is going to join him on 4 points. But who will it be?
First leg, it's Conan to throw first. Game on.
Will it be second place Conan Whitehead, who has a leg difference of +3? Or will it be Corne Groeneveld, who's got a leg difference of +1?
100.
There it is! Make that 18 consecutive games with a maximum.
That is getting ridiculous, isn't it?
57.
Conan Whitehead has hit 180s in every single one of the 18 matches he's played this week.
93.
That's his 33rd of the week.
44.
And I am expecting him to get one in every game he plays now. And if that happens this week, that might be something that never happens
58.
again.
Well, also, you just made the point it was 33 per week. That's not actually far off hitting 2 every game.
Exactly. If you consider 29 in Group A
44.
from 15 games,
Conan, you
that's
require
180 off, getting exactly an average of 2 per match.
96.
You know what's impressive as well? That's 2 games tonight that he started with a maximum. He just gets it out the way immediately.
Piling the pressure on his opponent.
100.
Right from the off.
Requires 74.
And now looking to take the first leg. 20 and tops. The dart usually blocks tops for Conan Whitehead, and it has again here. A slight little shuffle. And that is a magical dart. He bends it in that top corner like a David Beckham free kick.
Or should we say it like a Phil Foden left footer from the Bernabeu the other night? Did you see that goal? A sickeningly good strike from possibly England's best player.
36.
Well, it's England against the Netherlands here. And I know that we do have a fair few viewers over in the Netherlands. Some in particular teammates of Corné Groeneveld.
42.
It was mentioned earlier this week that Marco Meyer, the referee here at the Super Series, is a teammate for many, many years, 10 years in fact, and has been by far the best player in their league. They all had a practice tonight in their local pub and are all watching him and are very, very proud of how he's done so
97.
far. Marco has been in touch to say that they've got a group chat with 30 people and everybody is going mad when he's playing. Even if he doesn't qualify, they're all very proud
40.
and are all watching now. So I hope you're enjoying it, folks. Sit back, and I hope that not just Corné, but all of the players put on a show for you to enjoy tonight.
100.
He's got an excellent chance of qualifying, in my opinion. He's got the levels needed to make a Saturday. And here's my point about Corné.
60.
I consider myself someone who's well informed about who's good from what country, but when it comes to the Netherlands, there are
98.
more players that I don't know anything about than any other country, because their talent pool is about as deep as the Mariana Trench.
95. Conan, you require 164.
Treble 18. Not found. He actually plays pairs with
96.
Marco Meyer as Corné Groeneveld. Now
Corné,
that
you require
entails doing
170.
precisely 99% of the work, doesn't it?
I was going to say 98. Well, if he
96.
gets a bit of a sticky wicket
Conan,
on the
you
counter,
require
you know it's Marco. Only kidding. We love you, Marco.
52.
Conan does not love that.
Corné, you require 74.
$15 ball in a flash and a pause. And he gets the
49.
approval from Conan in the background.
16.
He did a little bit of that this week, didn't he?
Game shot on the
Expecting his
second leg,
opponents to hit
Conan
shots.
Whitehead.
Well, luckily for Conan this time he didn't, but he did.
Third leg, it's Conan to throw
A
first.
2-zip in this one, so
Game
Whitehead
on.
looking to join Bradley Brooks at the top of the table. Brooks back in action next against David Wawrzewski.
68.
And then Whitehead and Brooks will play each other in the last match of the night.
Looking forward to that one already.
140.
I think Wazzy might have to be on form in Game 8, judging by what we've seen from Bradley so far. Here we go.
121.
Oh, that was a bad dart for Conan. I would say 8 times out of 10 he finds a max there. Yeah, 3 previous matches this week have all seen a minimum of 5 legs and a maximum of 6.
100.
At no time have they gone the distance. 4-1 to Corné. And a couple of 4-2s. So it'll be interesting to see what happens now that they don't matter. I'm subscribing to that a little bit more these days, Murph.
60.
That the head-to-head from the previous group doesn't necessarily mean a great deal. It's all about what happens in this group now.
137.
Good leave.
Conan, you require 152.
And he will return for double 12 after 12.
42. Corner you require 24.
It's got a nice ring to it. Double 12 after 12.
Game shot on a third.
How about a
leg,
15
corner
leg win?
Groeneveld.
Sounds a bit better in my opinion.
Fourth flag, it's corner to throw first. Game on.
Trying his very best to
57.
turn this around here. Groeneveld started his night with a very good 4-2 win over David Wawrzewski, but then was on the wrong end of a 4-3 defeat to Bradley Brooks in a brilliant match. A game of the night so far, no doubt about it.
96.
It's going to take some beating, that fifth game of the night, isn't it? But I suppose if anybody's going to do it, it's going to be Bradley. Averaging about 95 for the night. Averaging 2 180s per game, like Conan has been most of the week. And his doubles,
125.
8 from 17. That is really good. Every department cooperating. But the job is only 25% done. So he can't afford to get carried away. That's what I like about Group B. It's as fast and firing as it gets in the first 5 days of the week. And I think that Whitehead prefers Group B to any group Monday to Friday.
140.
Because of its urgency and its proximity to Saturday.
Treble 18 here. Leaves the ball. Oh, what a dart. What a finish. Conor Groeneveld levels up with a sublime shot, the 1-2-4. And Whitehead, all he can do is wait, shake his head, and then try and put it right.
And well done, Corny. You've just poked the Rottweiler.
108.
His bark is as bad as his bite. I think that's quite sensible from Groeneveld, who's been racing around like a whippet tonight, but he took a moment himself there. I think it was quite smart.
I agree.
58.
Read the room. Well, that was a really interesting look from Conan, wasn't it? Because I think there was a bit of a nervous twitch from Corny when he was getting 92. His darts out the board there. I don't think he did anything wrong. I think he had a bit of a neck twinge or something like that. And Conan was just looking him up and down as if to say, what was that?
140.
That was interesting. You said he's poked the Rottweiler and he's got that kind of response, hasn't he?
59.
I don't think I've ever had the pleasure of playing against Conan, but I'll tell you what I'd do if I was playing him. I would just do it quietly.
133.
And both on a 170 after 9.
170.
Conan's not going to get it. Can Corny?
98. Corner you require 170.
It's on. Bullseye.
137.
We saw 164 earlier from Mason
72.
Whitlock. That was possibly the finish of the day. What a marker. What a finish.
On a fifth leg,
Classic Conan to take the 3-2 lead.
I think both players are giving it a little bit here.
Sixth flag, it's Cornet to throw first.
It's taken an interesting turn this tie. I just had a little look back at that, and it did appear that Groeneveld kind of celebrated a low score, and that's what Whitehead was sort of looking at him for. It didn't look like a twitch on second inspection. It looked almost like a little sort of air punch.
There is a bit of a, how can I put this?
55.
An unspoken code of ethics in this sport, like there is in other sports, like snooker and some others.
125.
But if your celebrations and your posturing is perceived as trying to put your opponent off, it will not be received well by certain parties.
Yeah, you can expect a big celebration for a 180, maybe even a 140 or a big finish, but not for 100 or below.
At the UK Open, when Dimitri was taking his time in winning the title, he was fist pumping tons, and it was puzzling a lot of people.
Right, can Groeneveld leave himself in finishing range here?
59.
He can't.
Conan
Whitehead's going to get a chance to win the match, and if he does win it, watch out for the celebration. The sound of it, the size of it.
68 left.
98.
And he fist pumped that 98. What a really intriguing game this has been.
140.
Whitehead has played well.
8. Game shot.
And he wins.
Conan Whitehead.
A 4-2 success for Conan Whitehead. It took a little while, but they're having a little chat at the end. All smiles, conversations, a bit of darting respect between the pair of them. But it's a 4-2 win for Conan Whitehead. Good sportsmanship from Groeneveld in defeat as well. There was battle on the Yorkie, but all smiles and handshakes when the game is over. The way it should be. And it's a game that was won very, very well by Whitehead, averaging just shy of 94. 4 out of 6 on the doubles in that one. And a 4-2 success against the impressive Groeneveld, who may only have one win so far tonight, but will have another chance. Whitehead, though, has gone top of the table, level with Bradley Brooks, who's in action next against David Wawrzewski.
Hey everybody, and welcome back. Time for Bradley Brooks to close the show, so to speak, because he's got 2 of the last 3 games. He will take on Conan Whitehead in Game 10, and you do not want to miss that one. However, he's the person who could end the night for David Wawrzewski and possibly keep him on 2
First
points
leg, it's David
as we
to
go
throw
into
first. Game on.
the early hours of Friday morning. And if he's able to do that, he will be in a very advantageous position even before
22.
he plays Conan Whitehead. He has been superb this evening, Bradley Brooks. What are we going to get from him in game number 8, I wonder?
Yeah, really, really good. Particularly
42.
in that win against Corne Groeneveld. Game 5 of the night. He's had a couple of games off since then. Played in game 3 as well
81.
against Pete Begoy in a 4-3 win in each of those encounters. But they haven't looked difficult, have they, for Bradley Brooks? He's played very, very well in them and was good value for those victories.
I think sometimes we can get caught up in numbers.
100.
Darts is not played on paper, though. Darts is played in the grey areas. And if you watch the way that Brad's been playing tonight,
44.
the thing that's impressed me the most is his patience and his temperament. It's never really been in question that much. And the 180 shooting tonight has not been in question either, as Wazzy has 2 in a row.
Yeah, and a nice little greeting as well too.
David, you require 38.
Follow the maximum. Wawrzewski given the luxury of the split.
6.
Can't find the hit, but will be back.
Is it fair for me to say that Wazzy's a better starter than a finisher? Because tonight's behaviours tell us that he's got 92. No problem getting out of the blocks,
32.
but maybe just slows down towards the end.
First leg, David
Potentially, usually, and I'm sure you'll be able to testify this to your work as a coach, but maybe even predominantly as a player, that's usually a thinking problem, isn't it? You go up there, you're not really concerned about the end of the match at the start, you're just throwing your darts, and then suddenly,
60.
when it comes to a crucial leg or trying to cross the winning line, that thought enters your mind, and you're thinking about not missing,
41.
which often results in missing.
Yep, very true. You've got to have the same sort of mindset in leg 1 as you do in leg 7 in this format and everywhere in between. That's why you've got to create these little habits.
81.
These little good habits that have the same sort of positive neural pathways throughout the
41.
process. Which means that you have to create this pre-throw routine that is reliable through pressure. And whenever something happens that is creating more pressure, you have to have this way of resetting yourself back to your sweet spot. I know that sounds a bit like tomfoolery and a bit
60.
of a technical term, but that's effectively what sports psychologists do. They try and get you to a neutral state of adrenaline and calmness.
And I'm just wondering if that's pretty much what Bradley Brooks was trying to do there, because he took an awful long time to even approach the hockey. Header was down.
60.
He is playing a really rapid opponent, and that's not his game, is it, Bradley Brooks? So it's important that he doesn't get caught up in that cycle.
Correct.
60.
He's played pretty much every rapid play you can wrap off in a 2-minute window. So he knows a fair few
135.
tips and tricks to try and rein himself back in. And this has been an excellent second leg from Brad.
53. Bradley require 138.
I like what I see from Brad tonight, technically. Because the drawback
86.
of the dart is very measured. He's doing something that Jermaine Watamina's focusing on at the minute as well. When he brings the dart up
55.
towards the address position,
Bradley
he's trying to make it one
52.
movement. There you go, back. But it's a measured speed. It's not too quick.
Second leg, Bradley Brooks.
And it works.
Brooks looks good. He levels the
Third leg,
match
it's
in
David to throw first.
pretty comfortable fashion. Not playing to the high standard we've seen him so far tonight, but
60.
more than enough to have a share of the spoils in this game.
If you go to the northwest of England and you say darts and the surname Brooks, people might think of Bradley. They might think of
26.
Rachel Brooks, very successful female dart player from Yorkshire. But if you go to Merseyside they'll probably say Mickey Brooks.
134.
I wouldn't go so far to say that Mickey Brooks was famous, more infamous. He was good pals with our good mate Stevie McNally. And they've got some stories.
Yeah.
I really, really hope one day that if they play through an ADC qualifier, someone like Stevie McNally turns up, because he's got some stories.
79.
Yeah, he
Bradley require 127.
nicknames himself the hobo, doesn't he, Steve McNally?
Yeah, he once went to a tournament and didn't have a hotel room. He slept in a zoo.
87.
Good thinking from Brooks to tee up tops there.
If you think I'm telling porkies, I'm not. It's a true
100.
story.
Bradley require 40.
Tops for a break of throw. Just try and hit the dart. That's what he tried to do. But when the
Game
bed
shot
is
on the
open,
third leg,
he finds
Bradley
that
Brooks.
one. Is there anything that is going to ruffle the feathers of Brooks tonight? I just don't see it.
Fourth flag. It's Bradley to throw
Yeah,
first.
looking really comfortable. He's turned this
Game
game
on.
around as well. Not just the direction of the scoreline, but the way he's performing. First two legs really slow, and then suddenly
100.
a 5-visit leg to just get him feeling comfortable again.
100.
That's the thing. He does look comfortable in what some people would perceive as an uncomfortable situation. Going up in front of these lights,
60.
on that stage, in front of a hushed live lounge, is not an easy thing to do.
58.
But at the minute, Bradley looks as comfortable here as he would throwing in his own house.
100.
And that has got to be the trick, hasn't it? To be able to... You hear it all the time from players in interviews. I wish I could just take my practice game to the stage. It looks like he's doing that tonight.
60.
I'd have to agree. But after a hot start where Wazzy got 2 180s in the first leg, he has again slowed down.
140.
It's been really good, consistent, steady scoring from Brad, who's now got 9 scores
64.
of 100 or more
Bradley
in less than 4 legs.
101.
And it seems to have affected Wawrzewski as well. As Bradley's upped his game, David's has declined.
$53.
That's okay. He's got options when he comes back.
137.
But he is under pressure.
Bradley require 48.
However, tonight, doubles have not been a problem.
Game shot on the 4th flag. Bradley
No
Brooks.
trouble again. Bradley Brooks, after losing the first leg, has enjoyed a nice stroll
5th
in the
flag,
park
it's David
since.
to throw first.
3-1 to the good
Game
against
on.
David Wawrzewski, and now 1 leg away from making it 3 wins from 3 tonight.
83.
If Brooks wins this week, and it is the winner
121.
of this week against the winner of a previous week in, let's say, the series final, it'll be a nightmare for the referee.
140.
Could be Bradley Brooks versus Bradley Roos. You know, a bit like the whole Luke Humphries, Luke Littler situation in the Premier League every week, pretty much.
I wonder what the worst combination
100.
of names you can get. You want 2 players with the same first name, but then really difficult to pronounce surnames.
60.
Or long surnames. Like, is there another Mario, for example? So you've got Mario van der Behard, and you've got to say it every leg.
60.
There was a Mario Rob, wasn't there? But that's not hard to say.
No, Mario from the Netherlands. Good player.
45.
What you could have, potentially, is Patrick van den Behard and Mario van der Behard.
100.
But it would just be Patrick and Mario, wouldn't it?
We will find something. That's the question for the
95.
chat room.
Bradley
Hardest
require 120.
game for a referee to officiate in terms of pronunciation.
Two names that are double-barreled.
Why does it feel like we're doing the graveyard shift on a local radio station all of a sudden?
68.
What, like Radio Quiet for Smashy and
David
Nicey?
requires 78.
Like that, Dart. Like that one even
Game
better.
shot on a fifth flag. David Wawrzewski.
That's more like it.
Yeah, this is Late Night Love Songs with Murph and Nico.
Sixth flag. It's Bradley to throw first. Game on.
Right now, my darts will go on.
You know, when I was growing up, there was pretty much one thing to listen to at this time of night. Was Alan Robson on Metro FM. Get to those phones.
140.
Such a legend, Alan Robson. The only thing is, he was a Sunderland fan. Nobody's perfect.
And 3% of our viewers will get that reference as well.
58.
Yeah, he used to have this thing called the Night Owls on from 10 o'clock on Metro FM. And it was a talk show.
92.
People would talk about anything, and Alan Robson knew everything to talk about. Politics, sport, local issues, the lot.
59.
Somebody has pointed out in the chat room that tonight in the Premier League semi-finals it was Luke versus Luke and Michael versus Michael.
And it was also a rematch of the last two World Finals.
Well, 1-3-2. That would be a beautiful
62.
finish, befitting of our little
David
theme.
require 132.
Magic moments. Oh, not happening. It turns out it's singles night.
66.
Things have gone a little bit awry for Bradley over the last couple of legs. And when you consider what he's been through tonight already,
140.
he's won
David
4-3.
require 66.
4-3. And he might need to do it again.
Game
because
shot
this
on a
one's
sixth flag.
3-3.
David Wawrzewski. 7th and final leg. It's David to throw first. Game on.
Well, it does come down
41.
to a single leg, and you asked the question earlier, is David a better starter than a finisher? And I think we're getting the answer because he kicks off 41 on throw and effectively says to Bradley Brooks, go on, son, you take it.
97.
Remember what happened in his previous match with Groeneveld? In leg 7? He started with a couple of 140s, didn't he? He didn't panic.
And look what Wawrzewski's done here. He's actually had 6 starts. Brooks has had 3 and he's already 30 points behind him. 41-26. And Brooks is just doing what he needs to do.
And last start saves Brooks again.
So Wawrzewski needing big trebles to try and bail himself out. He does get within 2 points, but Brooks has already got a 3 dart advantage. And this time it's 2 trebles. Brooks is just doing the right things at the right times.
If he walks away with a third consecutive victory, 4-3, his character is going to be tested and he will pass the test. For a third time. This is exceptional from Bradley Brooks under pressure. Look at him in the background. His focus is laser-like.
Bradley require 40. Game shot.
And there it is. Brooks
Bradley Brooks
gets it done. It's a hat-trick of wins. A hat-trick of 4-3 wins for Bradley Brooks. But the way he's performed in those last leg deciders has been exemplary. That one won in 13 darts. Wawrzewski going down. And Bam Bam gets the job done. Points in the bag. Maximum points so far tonight for Bradley Brooks. 4-3 again. Very decent display. Particularly that 13 dart closing out of that win that takes him to 6 points. And coming up next, the last outings of the evening for Corne Groeneveld and Pete Begoy. 2 games left then here this evening in Group B. The first night of Group B on Week 7 of Series 7, and it is Begoy battling it out with Groeneveld in the penultimate match of the evening. Cornet cheered on by his darts team back in the Netherlands, all together watching this tonight.
First leg, it's Cornet to throw first. Game on.
They'll be proud whatever happens, but will they get the ending that they require for their evening? Let's find out.
99.
Did you manage to get any replies about the tongue twisters for the referees? If there were any matches?
59.
Did get one actually from Luke Humphreys, who's tweeted in, but not the one you're thinking. Another darts player called Luke Humphreys. Was a BDO County player, played on development tier himself, and he has tweeted, "What about Luke Humphreys against Luke Humphreys?"
100.
It's conceivable.
There was also 2 Martin Atkins on tour at the same time, and 44. He actually nicknamed himself T'other, didn't he?
Yeah, because he had brackets after his name with Wigan in it to decipher him away from Martin Atkins from Yorkshire. So now, the funny thing is, both of them played for England.
So if you were refereeing, would you have to say Martin Atkins
60
open brackets Wigan close brackets?
I don't know, but it's fascinating as well. But as far as tongue twisters are concerned, I thought of a possible Germany versus Austria match between my pal Wilhelm Schwingenschlögl and Patrick Klingelhofer.
134. Pete, you require 107.
I'll stick to Pete. Oh, for Pete's sake, he's missed it.
22. Cornet, you require
Coincidentally,
82.
Patrick Klingelhofer will play Daryl Gurney in the International Darts Open.
First leg,
a little bit later today. But Cornet Groeneveld has got fans in the Netherlands watching this right now, and they're all very happy at the minute because he's 1-0 up.
First. Game on. 100.
Yeah, we'll have to get the official ruling on that from an experienced official. We have got a few who will know the rules here at the Modus Super Series that do a great job refereeing, so we'll be sure to ask Jack Garwood after this game.
They might even have to bring in the middle name.
46.
One of our chat room contributors has said that there is a team that he
60.
plays in or against, and they've got players who've got very similar names, and they're double-barreled as well. Merrill Hakua Johnson and Merrill Hergney Johnson. So you'd have to give the full name for each one. Yeah, someone has just questioned what you said, Paul. Willem,
59.
You say it again.
Wilhelm Schwingenschlögl. Yeah, he's from Austria. Hell of a nice guy. It's my dream one day for him to play in the Austrian Darts Open in Graz.
142.
A bit like the Weekly Darts Cast trying to get Jamie Robinson through the door.
110.
Who has actually sent me a post tonight. I hope you're well, Jamie.
Well, Begoy is set up here.
100. Pete, you require 32.
Double 16. Found.
Game shot on the second leg. Pete Begoy.
He's played some decent stuff at times tonight, and nobody is going to be out of the picture come the end of the evening. We're sure about that already, but whoever wins this game is going to have a much better chance.
Absolutely right. Bradley Brooks already on 6 points, ahead of his game with Conan Whitehead, 44. And I think he's taken the pressure off that game completely. But maybe not off the first game they have tomorrow yet.
97.
He would do so if he beats Conan in his 4th match tonight, but we'll get there. Now, if you were to attribute
40.
a flavour of crisps to certain coloured doubles for this man right here who has some sort of crisp eating record, what would double 16 be? Would it sour cream and onion?
I don't know how to answer that.
140.
Well, red would obviously be some sort of chili flavour.
But you're saying all the green doubles are the same flavour?
No,
now?
no, you just give them a double, different flavours around the board. Let's face it, we attribute certain doubles to
108
people. Double 14 Mensah Suljovic, double 12 Gary Anderson, double top Robert Thornton.
57.
Double 7 Phil Nixon.
Corner you require 97.
Well, he's looking for the sour cream here. Couldn't find that, nor the tomato
57.
ketchup.
Did you ever try those tomato ketchup crisps?
They were all right.
When they first came out, they were rank.
140. Corner you require 40.
Well, let's face it, in Central Europe, there's only one flavour.
30.
And they're not black.
You require 68.
They're red and they're paprika. They're everywhere.
Game shot on the third leg, Pete Begoy.
Well, Begoy is mustard on the double at the moment. 2 out of 2.
Flag, it's Pete to throw first. Game on.
I think he sees the importance of this result potentially. If he can get out of tonight with 4 points, he'll see that as a huge win, considering he lost his first 2 matches.
134.
He wants to be Pete Burgoyne, not Pete Burgon.
Yeah, someone in the chat has pointed out there is 2 Steve Browns, of course.
Oh, of course there is. Steve Brown from England, America-ish, and
58.
Steve Brown from England.
I can't believe that people in the chat room are now playing along with your bizarre crisp game.
It is late.
Double 16 would be parsley.
60.
I've never had parsley crisps.
Parsley crisps?
And double 20 would be hot and spicy.
Yeah, like that.
95.
What would double 18
Pete,
be?
you require 124.
Looking crispy. Double 8.
108.
Oh, that was such a good try. It was so close.
$99. Pete, you require 16.
All right, can he plant it in this time around?
Game shot on a 4 flag, Pete
A nice
Begoy.
crisp finish from Pete Begoy.
And this is a decent performance. 60% on doubles.
5th flag, it's
Over a
corner to throw
91
first.
average.
Game on.
This is the kind of performance that can worry players in this group. Now, if Burgoyne was to
140.
plant his way through to Saturday night, that would be at whose expense? Because if you think about it this
81.
way, Brooks, Whitehead, and Groeneveld started this group as favourites to qualify.
120.
But if Pete was to make it, one of those 3, or potentially David Wawrzewski, wouldn't be there. So is he about to upset the apple cart, the outsider?
140.
The chat room has now taken this to another level and gone with dart player themed Chris. Remember when they did that with football with Smokey Beckham and Cheese and Owen? So this is happening, folks. Get them in there. We've still got half an hour or so to go tonight.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of this topic.
And I don't want to be commentating tomorrow, so
158.
I will read them all out, whatever you write.
What are you saying? You want to try and get yourself cancelled?
53.
Still needs the 140 to leave the double.
78. Corner you require 105.
Oh, what a beautiful first start. How's his third?
Game shot on a 5th
Sour
flag,
cream and
corner
onion.
Groeneveld.
He's already taken out 105. He's getting a bit of an addiction of his own for that.
6th flag, it's Pete to throw first. Game on.
We've been treated to some very good darts tonight, I will say that.
140.
I'm going to say hand on heart that Group C was just a little bit under what I expected. I think things will improve on Friday afternoon.
140.
But as for this group tonight, I have been very impressed with it.
100.
I mean, this is a great comment. I've got to stop reading out things about crisps, to be honest, if I value my future here. However, as Cornet Groeneveld finds a flaming hot monster munch, somebody has put the 25 is the sour cream and onion, Paul. The sour cream and
60.
onion Pringles. Not what you're looking for, but does the job.
There's so much sense in that. Yeah, because you only get the sour cream and onion when there's no salt and vinegar left.
You guys are thinking about this too much now.
Late night crisps here at the Modus Super Series. Oh,
140.
he was going for the
Corner
dead cat
required
flavoured Pringles
46.
there. No cats were harmed in the making of these Pringles, by the way. Other crisps are available.
Double 16.
30.
And that could be the moment that Begoy
You require
is given the
61.
chance to win this and to put himself right in the picture. There he gets exactly what he's looking for double 18.
Game shot. And,
And that is brilliant by Begoy, who wins the final match of the night. And that will be a very, very sweet taste for Beefy Begoy. A 4-2 win for Pete. An average of 95. 4 out of 6 on the doubles in that one. A great way to sign off the evening. He can go and celebrate with his usual crisp sandwich. And we'll be back with one more match. No chat about crisp, we promise. Just darts as Bradley Brooks takes on Conan Whitehead.
Anybody for the last game of the night? Yep, that includes me too, because the two best players of Group B here this evening will go toe-to-toe to see who will potentially be the leader going into day 2 of Group B. Whitehead has been impressive. 2 wins from 3. Bradley Brooks, 3 wins from 3. And he's won every single game by 4 legs to 3. But there's only 2 more points up for grabs before we take a few hours off and come back for the culmination of Group C from 1 p.m. a little bit later on. So, who's going to win the last game of the night? Is it going to be Brooks or Whitehead?
Big game. Huge game in this group. You would think that both players will end up going through, but if Bradley Brooks does manage to win this, he keeps Conan catchable, doesn't he, for everybody else? If Whitehead wins it, they're both in strong positions. If Brooks wins it, he's pretty much through.
When does Conan's maximum come?
First visit of leg 2.
100.
It's not going to be the second visit of leg 1.
94.
Brooks seems to have started this game in the same sort of vein that he finished the last one.
I tell you what, I'm so confident that Conan Whitehead will hit a maximum soon in this match.
100.
I'm not going to speak until he does.
See you in a bit then. So there you have it, Conan. If you want to keep Chris Murphy quiet.
56. Bradley require 161.
Guess I'm on my own for a bit. 161 for Bradley. I love this play. I love this play. Even
56.
if you don't get the treble 19, you go to the 17s, you try and get 6 there. It's high-level darting thinking at this level. And even with Conan missing at the minute, that will just fire him up for the start of leg 2. That puts pay to that. He's got 87 left. Treble 17 will again be the target.
35.
Not a good visit. It invites Conan back into this first leg potentially. He might try and leave double 2. He's not going to do it. It's still a brilliant visit though.
36. Bradley requires 70.
Becoming more popular. 70 with 14s.
50.
With 48's been popular
48.
for half a century. Double 16.
16. Bradley
You could have heard that in Southampton. That despair. He might not like this either.
Game shot
And
on
he
the
won't.
first leg, Bradley Brooks.
Winning legs in so many different ways tonight is Bam Bam.
Second leg, it's Conan to throw
When you
first.
travel all the way from
Game
Lancashire down to Hampshire, you want to make it count, especially when your first visit here
94.
did not work out the way you wanted. But this is a different dynamic, isn't it? First time he was here, it was Group C. It was 2 days with 10 games to play.
100.
He fell just short after a bad start. As far as this start is concerned,
58.
it's as good as the way he finished in Group C the last time he was here. Really, really good.
$100.
I hate to put some pressure on you, Conan, but I'd like to have some company in the commentary box. Hey! He was right!
It's all happening. And we are back. Conan Whitehead does
90.
get that customary maximum.
19 games in a row. Honestly, this is getting like the Auckland Athletics in the Major League Baseball. The theme of that movie Moneyball. He may never have a game without a maximum ever again.
And what a setup that was, by the way, to leave 36 to 133 following it.
36.
It's 6 perfect darts, really. Make that 7.
Second leg,
Conan Whitehead on the charge at the end of this evening's action.
Third leg, it's Bradley to throw first. Game on.
So let's try and work this out. How many games could he possibly have consecutive maximums this week? Because there's 4 games tomorrow night.
135.
That would make 23.
Potentially another 4 on Saturday if it goes all the way.
27 games in a row potentially in a week.
94.
And I promise Conan by saying this, if he wins this week, or if he makes the final and has a 180 in every match this week, I will never, ever let that stat be forgotten. And you know what the best thing is to do overnight? Don't tell him. Just let him keep doing what he's doing.
Yeah, good point. I remember once telling a player that
87.
they were pretty much already through after winning all of their games on a Friday, and then they lost all on the following day and went out. I remember telling James Wilson that nobody had ever won every game they played in a week. He promptly lost the next match.
Ignorance is bliss, right?
He actually did say in an interview as well, I wish you'd not told me.
33.
Ouch. So in a sense, he was saying,
98. Bradley, you require
why was
46.
I told?
I have just been informed there is a record to be broken on that stat, Paul. I will reveal it
You require 88.
after this leg.
2 14s.
Game shot.
There we go. Conan takes the lead, but do not rule Bam Bam out, because he has been winning tight games all night long.
So what did we say Conan was on now? 19?
19.
It's consecutive matches hitting a 180.
Game
Well,
on.
another former Super Series champion has done a streak of 24 straight games, and that man is a certain Luke Littler.
Of course it is.
125.
Now, if we were to go and tell Conan this, because it's Littler who has that record, he'd want to break it.
100.
Now we're in a bit of a quandary.
I think it's it's both ways. And he could get to 23 tomorrow night. So we'd go into finals night. Doing a 180 in each of his group games would see him usurp Luke Littler.
Yeah, I think that's the right time to bring it up, if indeed he is through to Saturday, which I'm sure he will be.
82.
We will be revealing next week's players in the little chat we have at the end of the show. So don't go anywhere when the last start hits the double. There's more information to give you. I know many of you look forward to that moment. That's another one for Whitehead.
60. Conan, you require 56.
That was his 36th of the week.
36.
He'll be back.
Funny enough, he scored 36 as soon as you said that.
He needs to get 2 more in this match
20.
to be exactly on an average of 2 per match this week.
Game shot on a 4
However, there might only be 1 leg left. And asking 2 180s from him in 1 leg is a big ask.
Great end to the night, particularly against this player. But let's not forget, every single result of Bradley Brooks tonight has been a victory 4-3. You are not safe on 3 legs, Conan Whitehead. You are not safe at all.
This is the first of 2 games they will play on Friday, because their next one will be 10:05 p.m. tonight. And this game's not even over yet, and I'm looking forward to their second meeting. That's a bit like looking forward to the second leg of a Champions League match.
57.
Even when the first one isn't finished. But I'm sure there are Real Madrid fans and Man City fans already looking forward to next Tuesday.
100.
Less so Liverpool fans are next Thursday.
Yeah, that's a bit of a touchy subject. Well, that was a bad first start from Bradley. But he's been recovering all night long. That means he can't leave a finish.
55. Bradley, you require 164.
Saw this one earlier from Mason Whitlock. Without a shadow of a doubt, the highlight of his day.
94.
And he is in with a shout.
84.
Later on in Group C, he could make the top 2. But he's going to have to be effective in the first couple of rounds, which he wasn't yesterday.
140.
Just gets himself
Bradley require 80.
in position to pounce in case Bradley Brooks doesn't take this out. And is that the right thing to do? It might prove to be.
40. Conan, you require 106.
He's running the risk of losing the match now.
$86.
And almost did.
Bradley, you require
And you do
40.
sense that Conan wanted to hit that to stop Bradley
Game
from
shot on the
having the
fifth
chance
leg,
of coming
Bradley
back.
Brooks.
He is very aware of what Brad's done tonight. Is that the only chance he gets?
Sixth leg, it's
Now
Conan
he
to
has to
throw
cultivate
first.
another opportunity.
Game on. $60.
He was disappointed in being third in Group A. As far as this group's concerned, is he thinking,
83.
I want to win this group, to almost say to the rest of the field that I am the favourite to win Saturday?
It's interesting the way he spoke at the start of the night, Conan Whitehead, because he did say
100.
he felt if he was in Group C, he'd really fancy it. But then when I asked him about this whole week, he did say he didn't really fancy it. He said there's a lot of good players. So you get the sense that
134.
he would be very proud of being top of this group because he respects all of the players in it as very, very talented.
108.
As is he.
37.
Well, he'll hope not to hit another one now, won't he? Because he wants to win this leg.
That's true. It's been a very fruitful night in that department.
98.
As far as Tom Plus checkers are
Conan, you
concerned this
require
week,
161.
not a massive amount.
$137.
Did get a 134 earlier, which was his best of the week. In fact, that's the only one he's hit all week. Ahead of 294 checkouts in Group A.
Well, Bradley Brooks has been perfect so far tonight, winning 3 games 4-3. But in the end, he's conquered by Conan. As Whitehead wins, beating Bradley Brooks 4-2 with a really good showing in the curtain closing contest this evening. An average of 99.57 for the brilliant Barbarian, who ends his night on a high and ends it at the top of the table. That victory over the previously unbeaten Brooks sees him usurp him on leg difference. Both of them having 6 points apiece. Pete Begoy on 4, David Wawrzewski and Corne Groeneveld on 2. And myself and Paul Nicholson will discuss all tonight's action and reveal next week's players after this short break. Well, what a fantastic evening of arrow slinging that was, and what a way it ended, Paul. Conan Whitehead really did go to town there on Bradley Brooks, and a win that just makes the group a little bit more interesting tomorrow.
Yeah, I think it does, actually. I think Brad has been clinging on masterfully all night, and when he puts his head on his pillow a little bit later on, he'll be thinking, this night could have been an awfully attritional affair, but some of the quality he was able to bring towards the end of his matches have given him 6 points. But the typically tenacious Conan Whitehead, who has got 180s aplenty this week, but bits of quality just when he needs it, walking away with 6 points tonight as well, he'll be very happy.
Right, here are the 10 final scores from tonight's tungsten tossing, and Conan Whitehead, a 4-0 winner in the first one against Pete Begoy, went on to win 3 of his 4 matches, as did Bradley Brooks. But the interesting thing was the margin of those wins for Brooks, all of them in last leg deciders.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you need to be tested to see where you're at with your game, but to be tested 3 consecutive times to win last leg deciders, it does tell us a little bit more about where Brad's at. Had he won those 3 matches 4-1, 4-0, 4-2, you don't get a massive amount of information. You get more information from leg 7 than any other leg. And his ability to find shots like this in 2 darts tells you everything you need to know. No panic, no lack of patience. It's clinical, it's brilliant, and very encouraging.
Despite that defeat, still a big fancy to go through to finals night?
Yeah, I think so. The first game tomorrow is going to be very interesting because he's got Whitehead first. So one of those guys is going to go to 8 points. But whoever loses it has still got an excellent chance of stretching their legs throughout rounds 2 and 3. I expect those to qualify, and then there'll be a little bit of a dogfight behind them.
You just spoke about Conan Whitehead, that match with Bradley Brooks. It seemed like he had the bit between his teeth in that game more than any other.
Conan's just like that. He likes to have the last word. And not in a somewhat cocky or arrogant way. It's just a case of he loves this place so much. It's given him so much over the last couple of years that when he's up against someone who's undefeated for the night, he'd like to say, this is actually my yard, not yours. And performances like that, which are exceptional, by the way, his best of the week so far, it just proves that he's one of the big dogs around here.
Yeah, he beat Bradley Brooks, but of all the players that lost in last leg deciders, who could suffer the most from their defeat? I'm thinking maybe Groeneveld, because it was such a good game for him to come out on the wrong end of.
Yeah, I think that's potentially the right answer, because Cornet's been very effective at times tonight, but you do get the feeling that he might be dragged into something instead of being part of this 3-person pack that could create a bit of distance. So his first couple of rounds come Friday night will be vital.
Yeah, big night for him tomorrow, and indeed many of the other players. Let's take a look at the table then and see how things stand after the first session. Whitehead and Brooks both on 6 points. Pete Begoy on 4 in the middle. David Wawrzewski and Corne Groeneveld on 2. Haven't discussed Pete Begoy yet. He was the outsider, but he finds himself in the provisional qualifying spot.
He's done really well, hasn't he? I think you look at his first couple of matches, you fear that his night tonight was going to be very similar to what he's had before, where he has been plunged into the depths of Group B. But he fought really, really valiantly in Game 3 and Game 4 tonight and put in a really good 4th match. So he'll be very happy with 4 points, I feel. And if he can do that again tomorrow, 8 points might just be enough.
Right, do you want to find out who's playing next week?
Yes, please.
Let's do it. Here are next week's players at the Modus Super Series. John O'Shea returns along with 2 Harrys, Harry Ward and Harry Gregory in Group A. James Richardson, Gilbert van der Meijden and Lee Cox making up the first group of the week. Then Kieran Tierney, a former winner, the first ever winner on that stage in Group B with Mark Dudbridge and Mike Gillett, who's also won a week here. And then Group C, John Worsley, Jamie Atkins and Martin Greers. And I think we're going to have some groups that rattle along quite quickly there.
Yeah, I think so. I like the look of Jamie Atkins. Heard a lot of people talking about him recently, so I'll be interested to see what he does. But people like Kieran Tierney coming back here, and we constantly reference him as the first winner on a Saturday night here on September the 3rd in 2022. So it'll be interesting to see what he brings this time.
Yeah, there aren't many players on there that have won weeks. I know John Worsley has before. Other players have won in the previous setting, but that was a different world. So does that week scream opportunity to you?
Yeah, I think it does. As we go further into this series, we start to look at the likely candidates, because you and I both know, and everybody else at home knows, that predominantly we get our winners from the second half. We've had some hugely impressive weeks so far in the first 6, but now that we're in the second half, if we're going to go on history, the winner comes from one of these weeks. I just wonder if it's going to be this week or the next.
Yep, 2 sessions to come tomorrow as well, Paul. Quickly, just a reminder that we have got a replacement. Lloyd Walker is coming in for Owen Bowden, who's had to withdraw for medical reasons from Group C. Now, you'd expect Colin Osborne to be through. Just give me a couple more names from either of the groups who you expect to be there with Victor Tingstrom on finals night on Saturday.
I do fear for Robert Thornton. I'm not sure it's going to be his week. I think his perfect Saturday record is going to be gone. But as far as Osborne and having company, I fancy Mason Whitlock to do it. I think he showed enough good attitude, patience and quality towards the end of the session that he might just have a little bit of a say when it comes to Friday afternoon, and we might just see a little bit more intensity from him.
Well, we'll see you then to find out, and we will see you tomorrow as well. 2 more sessions of darts coming your way, and the field for finals night will be filled. 2 sessions, Group B, 10 p.m, but before that, 1 p.m. for the resumption and conclusion of Group C. See you for more darting drama at the Super Series.